Indeed, welcome to AFL Nation under the roof at Marvel Stadium this afternoon. We're here for Tyre Power, Save on Toyo, massive Easter sale now on, and McDonald's, Macca's Chicken Deluxe range together, and Loving It order via McDelivery. Huge game, particularly for the home team, staring at a possible 0-4 start. Can the Adelaide Crows replicate the heroics of the showdown last week on the road here at Marvel Stadium? All that to play out. A big game coming your way, but before we get into all the analysis, let's get an odds update for Sportsbet.
It's time for an odds update, thanks to Sportsbet. Sportsbet's bet with mates. Gamble responsibly. 1-800-858-858.
Well, will Adelaide be able to bring that huge confidence they would have taken from last week's massive win against Port Adelaide into this game against Essendon at Marvel Stadium? Well, the market doesn't suggest so. $2.35 they're paying Essendon, the clear favourites, at $1.57 on their home track. That line, it's set at 9.5. Essendon should be able to cover that. Tex Walker is back for the Crows, though, so that's going to be a huge inclusion. Now, a couple of players to look at for the disposal market. Brody Smith for over 20. He's had that his last 5 games against Essendon. But Matty Crouch, his over-underline for disposals is 29.5. That's paying $1.92. I like that value. He's had that 8 of his last matches against Essendon. Josh Trushelli for a couple of goals. I'm going to be chucking that into my same game multi. It's paying $2. Tex Walker, like I said, he is back in this side, so he won't get as much attention onto him. I'm chucking Essendon at the line as well. I'm adding Matt Crouch in for that line of the 29.5 for his disposal. It's going to give you a whopper multi of $9.25. Good luck, but please gamble responsibly.
Indeed, all thanks to Sportsbet. 1-800-858-858. We're taking your calls all weekend for Star 21 2021 Telstra Enterprise Partner of the Year, and we're calling every game this weekend. You can also watch your team every game, every round on KO Sports, our pre-game show for Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops. Answer the Camel's call. Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops, and for Beaumont Tile, save with Beaumont's Easter specials in store now. Both teams out on the deck, which looks absolutely magnificent under the roof. The Kubota Cup weather forecast, together with Shaping and Building Australia. Roof closed, which is always the case here at Marvel Stadium, and the conditions inside here are pitch perfect. Brett Phillips alongside Matt Hill for the call. Great to see you, Hilly.
Good on you, BP. Lovely to be here, and as you say, under the roof. Beautiful day in Melbourne. What a time to be alive with the Grand Prix, the footy. It's all happening.
It is indeed a huge Sunday of football. Of course, unmissable moments. We might get into those, and that's where I'm going to welcome in Kane Corns with his great analysis this afternoon. Great to see you, Kano. And what are we looking forward to from an unmissable moment point of view for Drinkwise? Choose to Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you Drinkwise.
Yeah, good on you, BP. Well, I think it is probably the return of Taylor Walker. So they have. Yep. It's a big story how he will be received by the crowd. I think is an interesting talking point from a newsy one, but they reckon he's been training the house down, and just look at him and how fit he looks. He's going to take some stopping today, you would think.
It's a nice option, isn't it, when you're looking forward at the ball to see Taylor back in, just with his presence and his craft and what he can still do.
For the Bombers until I saw their outs and Adelaide's ins. Yep. So Stringer and Stewart, big outs clearly. They'll be undersized in defence. Gallant and Himmelberg had 8 between them last week, and throw Taylor Walker into the mix this morning. So their forwards are going to take some stopping.
Is it over-talk sometimes about the hangover from a showdown? There's such a famous win in the end with the last kick goal. Is there a little bit of a hangover from such a big occasion?
Yeah, it's a reasonable point, and they're the youngest team in the competition, and travelling away from home is always a challenge for young sides as well. They've had some time to get themselves together, considering it's a 9 or so day break, and the experience of Sloane coming back into the side should help as well.
So Signet are powering the commentary team for the upcoming game. Notice, Matty, you've got the Signet little power pack there. Stay charged with Signet. I think mine's coming in the mail this week. Tyre Power Tipping is back. Play SEN Tyre Power Tipping and join for your chance to win the weekly prizes, including the major prize of $5,000. You can sign up now at tipping.sen.com.au. So as we mentioned, the ground magnificent. The conditions for Pope. Our ground report, the better way to water. Pope's Drip Ease makes drip irrigation a breeze. Who made the game easy in last night's game? We're going to throw this into the mix prior to us getting underway for Kennards High. They make your job easy. Talk to someone who was taken the Kenneth today.
Well, Shea Bolton made it look easy, didn't he? He made the impossible look easy. It's going to take some beating. He took did he end up getting Mark of the Year last year? Because there was 3 rippers, and it was early in the year. I think I'm right in saying.
Yeah, well, he was trying to also go for another mark.
That was early on. So from memory, that hanger in the goal square. So it's going to take some beating. Like round 4, I'm not sure whether we'll see a better goal than that this year. The skill that he exposed last night, he was terrific.
Yeah, it was great to watch. I mean, every time he goes near the ball, something positive happens for his footy team. So, Kane, your final thoughts, and just set the ground up for us, our expert for Buy My Stock. If you've got excess stock, visit buymystock.com.au.
Well, 0-3 for the Bombers. They've had a tough draw. They've played against some good sides, Geelong, Brisbane, Melbourne. These are the teams you just have to win. So you just have to turn up regardless of who's in or out of your side. And there's some big outs, we get that. You must win at home if you want to have any meaningful say in this season. And there was expectations on them coming in on the back of what they did last year. But I'm telling you, Adelaide won't make it easy because the style that they play, they just have a crack and they don't go away. Yes, they're not polished. They're not the most skillful side. They will turn the footy over and give you opportunities. But as we saw last week, they'll hang in there and their midfield is full of grunt-type players that will put their head over it and win their fair share of the ball. So it's a fascinating one for me. As you heard from Jared Waitley in Crunch Time this morning, it's one of those ones where you just have to win if you're an Essendon fan today.
No doubt. And this is really made, isn't it, Matt? I mean, they're back on this ground. I mean, we've seen them, regardless of personnel, I mean, if they get their game going, that's it, run and gun and just sweeping through the ground, that tsunami-type feel on a fast deck like Marvel, they can put teams to the sword pretty quickly.
Such a proud team, Essendon, to be 0-3 for the first time in a long, long time. We're talking about 4 decades. Such a proud team. That'll be stinging them, no doubt about that. So, as Kane mentioned, they've got the black shorts on this afternoon. They need to be winning today, but I think I'm going to tip Adelaide.
Yeah, I'm going to tip the Bombers, guys. I just think, it's just one of those ones where they will be understanding of the situation that is in front of them, and they will be good enough to get it done. And I hope we do see that flair, BP, a bit of that ball movement where they can zing off half-back. Phillips and Draper in the ruck should give them a bit of a boost as well. I'm just interested to see how they use the one that's not rucking, because they're 2 genuine rucks. They don't have a lot of forward craft, so how Ben Rutten or Blake Caracella today juggles his 2 big ruckmen will be an interesting watch for me up here in the box.
They tend to push Draper up to full forward last week, didn't they?
Yeah, but he's not a natural goal kicker. So, I mean, he can be there to crash and bash and provide a contest with big 2-metre Peter, who's been okay at times this year. In fact, he's been more than okay at times, but needs a bit more consistency. But it'll all be reliant on the midfield battle today, and Adelaide have been really strong in that space.
So Blake Caracella gets his chance today, 15 years as an assistant coach, a man who didn't really have a great desire to coach. He sort of, in his words this week, fell into coaching. He's been under some outstanding coaches across a number of different clubs. He coached, I think, one pre-season game when he was part of Mick Moldhouse's coaching staff at Collingwood a number of years ago, but you just take your chance when it's presented.
Well, and he's not the first one to have that opportunity. Rossi had set out a game. Jamie Graham was in charge of the Dockers with Justin Longmuir over the weekend, and they've had some success. It's challenging for Ben Rutten, and you feel for him and how frustrating it'll be and how out of control he'll feel today. But I'm sure he'll have a link to the box, and the planning would have been in place all week. And to be completely honest, I reckon game day coaching's overrated. There's not many moves that a coach can make on game day that makes a meaningful difference. All the work is done with your game plan in pre-season, implementing your philosophies and the preparation during the week. So the players will be absolutely crystal clear of what they need to deliver to get a result today.
So is that why the coaches just look like they're going ballistic all the time, because they know they've got no control whatsoever?
That's why they get... Well, we saw it last night. Craig McRae, I've never seen him utter a swear word. He was losing his mind. Adam Simpson yesterday on this very ground, about 24 hours ago, was doing the same. So it's a frustrating existence, and that's part of the reason, because you don't have a lot of control when you're 200 metres away in the coach's box.
Warm-up's done for Ream. Ask your plumber to install the Ream Steady hot and strong. Dyson Heppel winning the toss. Essendon will kick to the right of your radio dial to one of the sexy scoreboards. Yeah, they're eye-catching. I can't take my eyes off it. Presence about them. Our pre-game show for Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops. Answer the Camel's call. Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops. Done and dusted. We're about to get into the call to this one.
Yeah, just watching just before Matt takes over for the bounce of the ball. Essendon looked to be a really small forward line, which we'll discuss throughout the game. Up the other end, completely contrasting. 3 giants for Adelaide in Walker, Himmelberg and Gallant. So a different couple of setups for each team in their front 6.
So a good roar for a Sunday afternoon under the roof at Marble Stadium. It'll be Phillips and O'Brien. Essendon kicking to the right of your radio dial. And Phillips got the first tap of the match. Falls out towards Sloane, couldn't quite get the ball. Martin does, though, got it to McGrath for Essendon in the first passage of play. Looping handball. Parrish now towards the near side they go. Through Ham, and then a wobbly old kick off the boot of Parrish, and it's turned over. And under pressure, the kick there from Schoenberg. Straight back, they turn it over, and it's Ridley for the Bombers, kicking it to Martin in the middle.
So Martin tries to straighten up. It's a good ball, just inside 50. Durham's on the end of it. First shot at goal coming up here for the Bombers.
And it was just a really important turnover. So the pressure from the Schoenberg kick forced the turnover. You turn the footy over in the front half of your ground, you're always going to get time and space for your forwards to work in. And Durham was that player. So the forwards can always find a bit of space off turnover. And the turnover game today is going to be really important.
Just his 10th game of footy, but he's had a presence since he's come in. 49 metres from home. He has sunk the slipper into that one. Got a great connection. And that is the perfect start in the first minute here at Marble Stadium on the Robot Building Supplies scoreboard. Robot's got it. One straight for the Bombers. Adelaide yet to score.
Yeah, so it's ball use for me. We saw the Parrish kick earlier, scrubber along the ground. Schomburg turns it over. Ridley's going to eat them up all day. And then the kick coming in from Nick Martin. So really good to see him back into the side. He burst onto the scene with his first game of the year, kicking 5. And that's what he can do. Like, he just makes good decisions. Very easy for a young player to just bomb that to the top of the goal square and look for Peter Wright, but that would have been a waste. Butts has got that matchup just to lower your eyes early on in the game, take the heat out of it and find an option off turnover. A really good start from the Bombers with their ball use.
Good young player Sam Durham, second goal in his AFL life. O'Brien, Phillips won the tap once again. Parrish overran it, but he was being held and gets the free kick.
Yeah, second centre bounce win for the Bombers, so they've really started sharply on ball. Oh, and he was lucky, Ben Keys. He moved on the stand rule, and the umpire was a bit generous.
Shield in the end takes the kick towards the pocket. Plenty of players at the fall of the ball. Opportunity here for the Bombers to snaffle something. But Duday for the Crows. Little handball round the corner, and they get away with it through Scholl, who bangs it back towards the outer wing. No mark taken. Fell to Heppel. Heppel round the body onto the left boot inside 50. Loose ball. And it's Frampton who's going to clear for the Crows.
He does, Matt. Long towards the wing. Heppel had a fair piece of it. He'll, in the end, be paid the mark. So Dyson Heppel just forward of the wing. All the numbers are back for the Crows. And he pumps it inside forward 50. Down towards right. Hands on it from O'Brien. Adelaide trying to be clean in defence. They hunt the footy. Durham, who's kicked the opening goal. And then the tackle's laid on that occasion by Snelling. Back in the team for the Bombers. Gets a stoppage only 25 metres from their goal.
Quick safety still sheds. Stats 5 inside 50s to 0 Bombers way.
Phillips the palm down. Scholl extracts it on the right boot. Heppel had front position. McGrath attacked it hard. Now Adelaide trying to find some clean footy into the hands of Laird, who just threw it on the boot. Metres gained up the wing. Laverty's there first. Across now to Perkins. They go towards the 50 again.
Yes, and Perkins, they've coughed it up, so another turnover. So Laird, handball, back he goes to Smith, and now they work it around the outer wing. Here's Keys. Down the line he goes towards Walker. A few little boos there, Kane, which is interesting. He affects the tackle on Zerk. Thatcher, was he holding it? Yes, so Walker's going to get his first possession of the match. So he's too far out to score. You can hear the reaction from the crowd. Sends it towards the pocket for the first time for the Crows. Laverty at the fall of the ball. He's wrapped up in a tackle. He got rid of it towards Redmond, and then Heppel along the boundary line just tried to get it to Ridley, but it beats him the boundary line and out of play. It's at the half-forward flank over for the Crows, left of your radio dial.
Yeah, first scoring opportunity they've had. Walker couldn't take the mark, but the follow-up tackle was good. But the kick to the top of the goal score, I don't think it's going to work because Ridley is such a good interceptor. He was the one that came across.
Phillips the tap down the throat of Ridley, threw it on the left boot. And the Crows attacking it there. It was Schoenberg just trying to control it around the bootlaces. He's surrounded by traffic. He's got it on the boot. Guelph, just didn't quite pitch for him. It's a hot ball to win. Snelling, Zerk, Thatcher, Heppel. Now the run through the middle of the ground for the Bombers. They don't hit the target, though. At half forward, didn't get to Waterman, cut off here by Duday.
Duday sends it towards the outer side, finds Laird, and running for him, Scholl. So Scholl runs hard and kicks it towards the forward line inside 50. Himmelberg at the back couldn't quite get into the contest, and there's a free kick. It's going to Kelly for the Bombers.
Yeah, so he's got the Gallant matchup, and he was really good. Lockie Gallant, breakout game for him, kick 4, but AFL footy's tough. You put some time into you, as they will today, as Kelly turns it over. A bit of a turnover game happening right now as Laird takes the intercept mark. He's been such a good player for the Crows. Just got to settle things down and use the ball better, the Bombers, to start this game.
Laird bangs it long again. Phillips at the front when the fist fell towards Redmond, and then socket off the ground by the Bombers towards halfback Walker. Gets the spilling ball to Dawson, who disguises it towards the pocket. Opportunity here for the Crows, and Gollan's taken the mark, has he? Yes, he had a fair bit of it, and the young man takes the mark about 35 metres out on an angle.
Yeah, just a mistake from Will Snelling. My old man always told me, if you can pick the ball up or you can grab it, pick it up. Yeah, he went with the hack off the ground inside defensive 50, completely missed it. That gave the Crows an opportunity. Jordan Dawson got it. Nothing pretty coming back in. I thought Ridley got a bit on it, but umpire's probably always going to pay that. And just spoke about Lockie Gallant in that breakout game in the showdown last week. Your first kick is important. We saw the Dogs and how inaccurate they were last night. Last week, he struck them exceptionally well.
Looking for his 7th goal in his AFL life. 35 metres out.
Good kick.
And it just hits the posts. So 6.5 minutes gone. Essendon 1 straight goal, and the Crows 1 behind. Thanks to Makita Rule, the Outdoors and Robot Building Supplies. Robot's got it.
A good strike, BP. Just smack bang into the post and come back.
It's the last bit of it. People into Laverty, up the line. There's 2 metre Peter. Takes a nice mark. Pushing right up to the wing to cluck that footy. His eyes were darting inboard. He's just going to have to work up the line. Well, he does draw it inboard, and then Draper makes a good run at it. Waterman sprinting back towards goal, trying to put it to the advantage of his forwards at the moment. High ball in. Durham competed in the air. Ground level ball for Keys. Threw on the boot pretty quickly. Spirals one out towards the wing. Not keen to keep it in. The Bombers there through Kelly trying to get the deliberate.
Fair enough. Good umpiring, because he could have picked that ball up. But you can't get deliberate if the ball is there to be picked up. Now he's just wanting the umpire to pay that. You can actually pick. So I hate that. That's
he
what
was
the
wishing
rule
the ball
done.
to go over, wasn't he?
If the ball's there, pick it up.
So the throw in on the outer side. Parrish at the fall of the ball. And then bangs it long towards centre, half forward, right at the front, and took a good grab. He had his name written all over that, and takes the mark on a 45-degree angle, 54 metres out from goal.
Oh, it's just I think it's the most rare and most valuable asset in the game is a contested mark. You saw one moments ago down the line. That just relieves all pressure, and then to do that in a pack and be able to clunk something like... Not many players in the game can do that consistently. He's going to strike this one from 53 to take his absolute best.
Kicking to the right of the radio dial. He gives it a roost. It's there. Second goal for Essendon. 2 metre. Peter delivers. Thanks to Robot Building Supplies. Essendon 2 straight goals. Adelaide 1 behind. We've been going 8 minutes.
Yeah, there's no doubt they look more threatening. So Draper started on the bench and they gave the nod to Phillips, and Phillips was really strong to start the game, and maybe, I don't know how much you read into players starting on the bench these days, but perhaps they haven't been thrilled with how Draper is going, so they give the first ruck opportunity to Phillips. Draper comes on and he's going to test Adelaide forward, but Frampton and Butts just got all confused. It was 2-on-1. Peter Wright was the only one that wanted the footy. He went and got it. And the difference between being able to kick straight and accurately, I mean, that's probably a 5 out of 10, I reckon, for big Peter Wright over the course of his career. Up the other end, Gallant hits the post from 35 metres out. So terrific start from the Bombers, and they certainly look more threatening when they go inside 50 as opposed to the Crows.
The thoughts of Kane Corns, our expert for buymystock.com.au. All important clearance here. Crows don't want to get this first quarter away from them too quickly, which can happen on the fast deck of Marvel as we get a stoppage as that ball escaped out to the far wing.
Zerk Thatcher's got Himmelberg. They'll like that. He's got, I reckon, 5 or 6 centimetres on him. Laverde's got Walker.
Crouch hunted the footy nicely. Gets on that preferred left. Kick inside forward 50. Himmelberg tracking out the back. There's going to be a free kick in the air to the Crows, though, in that contest that was just in front, so Gallant's going to get a free. Some interference in the air. We'll get a look at that on the replay for Easy Devon.
It was Jake Kelly. I mean, we saw what Hawkins did to Harris Andrews. You know, if that's a forward doing it to a defender, there's no way they're paying that. No. But because it's a defender doing it to a forward, they're desperate for more goals to be kicked, so you always get the benefit of the doubt as a forward. That's a play on for me. There's not a lot defenders can do. But this will test your resilience now. So you've had one shot from a similar spot at the other side of the ground, so the opposite side. Going to completely forget that and go back and strike it nicely now.
Sucks in the deep breaths. The skip up now from 40. The crowd will tell you the Bronx cheers. That one's gone across the face.
It's the mind games, isn't it?
For a behind, so a couple of misses for Gallant. 2 behinds Adelaide, 2 straight for the Bombers. Robot Building Supplies, scoreboard Robot's got it.
So Ridley leaves the square, goes for just a little bit of a jog. It's Zerk Thatcher in the back pocket for the Bombers. So the first real lull in this match. It's been quite a frenetic start. Kicks it to a swarm of players on the near side wing. No mark taken. Guelphy at the fall of the ball, wrapped up in a really good tackle from Brown. And it was in the back, so Guelphy gets the free kick. So Guelphy, you can't miss him. With the dyed hair. Kicks it long towards the edge of the square. Draper works his body. Well, I was going to say well, but he's just nudged into Crouch, who gets the free kick for the Crows.
What he's doing, though, he's sprinting forward at every opportunity. They're trying to put some real work into Riley O'Brien, because he's the only one for Adelaide. And Essendon have got 2. Phillips and Draper will put a lot of work into him, and the longer the game goes on, it's going to be important.
Big fly at the back from Martin. Didn't take the mark at the fall of the ball. Was McHenry, got a loose handball away, and it's tough in the clinches, and the umpire crossed himself with Schoenberg at the bottom of the pack near side wing.
2 straight the Bombers, Adelaide 2 behinds. If you're just joining us on AFL Nation, the early Sunday kickoff under the roof at Marvel. Shield sweeps a handball to McGrath, tucks it under the arm, uses up his full meterage, kicked a little hot, and now the Crows might be able to get this ball in hand. Low pressure's good from Cordwell, and then they do release. Although Frampton just missed Schomburg, who does get it. Now the run from behind from Hinge. It's a one-on-one inside 50. Walker, Laverty wearing him close. Redmond, who just was able to squeeze a handball out of the congestion. Kick wasn't convincing. Big O'Brien came through, put it into the pocket, fisted away though. Deep for the Bombers by Jake Kelly, the former Crow. Will have a throw-in the left forward pocket.
Bit in that. Firstly, Laverde's defence was outstanding, because he was out of position against Walker. He had front position, went back, found a body, but found the ball in the spoil. And then 2 Bombers players, Draper and Perkins, just looked at each other, and Riley O'Brien got it as the Bombers exit here.
They do, or they try to at least. Durham's kick was smothered. Crouch jumps all over it. McHenry handball towards Laird, who was tackled. Did he dispose it properly? He did. Rowe scrapping forward. Walker over the top. Umpire's going to call it back. Free kick, the Crows.
So the free kick was there to Jimmy Rowe. He got him high, Draper, but the first one should have been paid. I mean, Laird was stone cold holding the ball. Umpire was right there. You got Pryor and you tackled, and you don't release an effective disposal. That is holding the ball. So umpires very lenient there on Adelaide. And Jimmy Rowe was quiet last week after being okay at stages throughout this year, but that's the life of a small forward. You don't get many opportunities, perhaps 7 or 8 per game. And after missing a couple of the Crows, this is such an important kick.
Virtually directly in front for Rowe. He trots in about 40 metres out, left of your radio dial, and makes no mistake. Goal umpire barely moves. The first goal for the Crows. Essendon, 2 straight goals, 12. Adelaide Crows 1-2-8. We've been going 14 minutes. Thanks to Makita. Rule the outdoors at Marvel Stadium on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, it's a tough spot for an opposition player to be when your opponent's got their head over the footy. You just got to take a lot of time and a lot of care. Draper was sloppy there. He's a big man, clearly, and Jimmy Rowe is not. He's just saying, look, he's a small guy. I'm trying my best, but it doesn't really matter how small you are. You get your opponent high, it's high. But I was more interested in the first one on Rory Laird, who was given a lot of leeway to dispose of the ball, which I don't think he even did.
No.
But anyway, game on here. Certainly the Bombers look much sharper, and they're moving the ball quicker and with more speed. But Adelaide, as I told you they would, they'll hang around all game.
14 minutes on the clock. Crows get their first of the afternoon. We'll go back in the middle with Phillips and O'Brien to go head-to-head once again. Phillips over the top. Caldwell. He's tackled immediately, under pressure. Laird trying to storm his way through, and Caldwell's still underneath that pack. He'll be the last one to get up, so we're a couple of metres outside the centre circle. Umpire tosses it up. Phillips getting his hands on a lot of footy. Shield trying to extract it. Keys trying to get busy. Caldwell's got no room to move. Keys on it again, trying to get it to Crouch. It's a really hot ball to win there, Sloane. And eventually Crouch away to Keys. Weight of numbers for the Crows. They just tumble one to half forward and intercepted here by Ridley.
Yes, the big fellow takes the mark and sends it out wide. Has Hind running for him, outer wing. Sends it to right half forward for the Bombers. And a good mark taken by Phillips. So Phillips wants to get on with it quickly. Sends it towards the pocket through the hands of Draper. Fell to Day. Guelphy dumped him. Jumps over the top. Ball's trapped and the umpire crossed himself to the left forward pocket for the Bombers.
So he was unlucky not to get a free kick. I thought he was tunnelled under the ball then. Draper, no doubt it's a focus for the Bombers ruckman to take Riley O'Brien forward at every opportunity as we get a throw in here. Forward pocket for the Bombers. Crowd not happy with a free kick that wasn't paid to Draper, and it's one of those ones. Who knows which way they would pay that, but then there was a holding the ball opportunity that the Bombers fans not happy about either.
Draper trying to flick it behind in a bit of space, only as far as Shoal for the Crows, who works it outside defensive 50. Foot race on. Laverty. Murphy trying to stick the tackle. Ball still spilled out. Shelley gets involved, and now Sloane able to work a nice ball just past the wing. Just waiting for a little bit of the cavalry to get forward and push right up the ground. So just got to go a little shorter just to work it through. Rochelle is going to chip it over the top. So it's the Crows that get it to Walker.
They worked their way through that really well because the Bombers had Kelly behind the ball all alone, and the Sloane kick, if he'd blasted that was coming straight back. And then Rochelle, for a player who's played 4 games, he makes good decisions. He could have gone long, but it would have been to the extra Essendon numbers. They thought their way through that really well, and it's a sign of a side that is maturing a little bit, considering how young they are.
Going to get the Bronx cheers all day. We know when he connects, he's one of the sweetest kicks in the game, but the crowd will tell you it's a mongrel off the side of the boot. It's missed everything from Tex. And the Bombers to start building from defence again.
So Hind from the back pocket for the Bombers sends it towards Draper, who came in from the side, a big fist. And then Redmond got the handball to McGrath, and then he shrugged the tackle to Verdi, and now Hind just in a bit of a situation in the back pocket, but finds a bit of space, and in splendid isolation is Kelly in the back pocket. So they're just having a little bit of trouble getting past defensive 50 at the moment as Kelly sends it to a swag of players on the near side through the fingers of Phillips. O'Brien couldn't get sweet purchase on the ball. Stacks on the mill, and at left half forwards for the Crows it is a ball up.
So Martin the last to get up for the Bombers. The ruckman to engage again, O'Brien and Phillips. It's a good battle to watch today. Trying to take on the tackle was McHenry.
That's the right decision. So he put the don't argue out, didn't dispose of the ball. So as soon as you go don't argue, that's your prior, and then if you don't dispose of the ball immediately, that's the new rule. So that was a good decision.
McGrath's ball. Phillips the target. Up went
Himmelberg. It's a good catch. So he's having a run in the ruck. They're going to have to give Riley O'Brien a rest. He does a lot of work, O'Brien, as the Crows go through the middle through Crouch.
There's one to Laird, to Crouch, to Keys. Wants to get on that trusty left. Little ball to half forward. Murphy, Dawson, the left footers all combining. Long ball to Tex. Couple of bites, he's got it. Hooks it on the left. And Tex Walker, welcome back as the Crows players get around him. And they build it up nicely. Adelaide, they've taken the lead here at Marvel Stadium. 2-2-14. The Bombers 2 straight, and that's on the Robot Building Supplies. Robot's got its scoreboard.
Yeah, it was a good intercept mark from Himmelberg, as we said. Then Adelaide's ball movements impressed me. So Essendon, I just reckon they're half a metre off with their team defence, and the ability of Laird to get involved through the middle to Crouch. Then Dawson was there, and I mean, he's the last player you want with footy in hand if you're the Bombers. He sent it to the top of the goal square. Laverde was out of position. Taylor Walker had that. Could have paid a mark. Ended up playing on and kicked his first welcome back Taylor Walker, now having a rest on the bench. In fact, he came to come off, but he's back out there now. They couldn't get the rotation right.
So Himmelberg, who played a major part in that previous goal, in the ruck that time, in the centre circles at fours. And it was Himmelberg who got it out towards Keys, and then a hurried kick towards centre half forward, only as far as Redmond for the Bombers, and finds Guelphy, who's on his own in the middle of the ground, in the middle of Marvel. Guelphy onto the right boot towards the right forward pocket, and Redmond takes the mark. In fact, Waterman takes the mark just inside the forward 50. So Alec Waterman, late inclusion, and he's on a 45-degree angle, possibly a little bit more acute. What do you think here, Kane?
I wouldn't say it's his big strength, but he's on the right side. So, yeah, it's a 6 out of 10. But it's amazing what quick ball movement can do, which we'll discuss after this kick.
Alec Waterman looking for his 18th goal in his career. It's flirting with the post. It's coming round beautifully. It was his preferred side, and he snuck it home. Alec Waterman, third goal for the Bombers, 3 straight goals, 18. The Crows 2-2-14, 23 minutes gone, first term. Scoreboard thanks to Robot Building Supplies. Robot's got it.
That was good play. So the kick here from Redmond into the middle of the ground was just perfect to Guelphy, and then he didn't hesitate. It doesn't matter how you get it in. You just got to get it in fast and identify those one-on-ones before Adelaide can get their spares behind the ball, or their ruckman behind the ball. And you know, Waterman may not be known for his forward brilliance, but he's strong one-on-one, and Hinge was out of position. He got the push at the right time. The kick from Guelphy was perfect. And then that's one thing they have done well so far today. So we saw Peter Wright kick one from outside 50 and Waterman do the same from a difficult angle. So really good game of footy we got.
Phillips gets his hands on the footy again. Parrish under immediate pressure. Shield as well. Important clearance here. Schonberg sits over the footy. Snelling, no room to move for either team, trying to extract that footy out. So 3 straight 18 the Bombers, 2-2-14 for the Crows. Redmond, now Parrish. Heppel behind the footy, took the handball receive. It's a high ball into open space on the wing. Howlett pitch, Wright and Butts. We'll see this one over the boundary line. We'll have it tossed in. So Laird's up to 8, Keys 7 on the safety steel shed's stat sheet at this stage. And rotations are plenty on the boundary below us for snaffle bite-sized payments win in this opening quarter.
O'Brien and Phillips. Phillips at the front. Taps it down to Caldwell. Just hacks it onto the boot. Progresses it inside 50. Right off his shoelaces. Couldn't quite grab it. Butts with a hurried handball. And it falls now to Martin with a looping handball to Shield. 45 metres out. And it's to the right. Another behind for Essendon. For them for the match, 3-1-19, Crows 2-2-14, 23 and a half minutes gone thanks to Makita.
He's just never done that well, has he, Dylan Shield? Like as good a midfielder as he has been when he's fit, you can't go to the next level because the best midfielders in the competition bury you there.
Chase Jones gained some valuable metres coming out of his defensive goal square. He penetrated it, and that ball got to the wing. Off hands, we'll have it thrown in neutral territory. On the far side from our commentary box.
Bombers Tools running hot for Ream, of course, because 6 contested marks to 2. And we'll also give that a hanger of the day thanks to hangmytv.com.au. Their contested marking so far really dominant in the air.
Snelling at the drop of the ball did nicely. Shield, Caldwell, Guelphy. They've linked up by hand to Shield. Handball just didn't sit. He's good enough to keep it in his direction. Nicely done, Caldwell on the left, and Peter Wright presented. Took it out in front of the eyes with a shot at goal coming up.
It's impressive watching him live, Peter Wright. You know, you watch him at home and he sort of bobs up, but you don't understand his work rate is really strong. Now, whether he can maintain that, because often he does start games well and he drifts out, but he's multiple leading, he's getting up to the logos, he's getting back, he's providing a contest, and mentioned the contested marks for Ream over 80 years manufacturing in Australia. That's another one, so we'll give him 7-2. Big kick.
Good side for a right footer. Peter Wright lobbers into the right goalpost. So a blemish score check for Robot Building Supplies. 3-3-21, 2-2-14. Essendon lead it.
Hinge short to Smith, who kept running for him. And now the ball in the hands of Laird at half back. for the Crows.
Switch on if you wanted it. So Rory Sloane's actually not playing inside. Back into the side after that adductor strain against Collingwood from a fortnight ago. Giving the youngsters more opportunity on ball, and Rory Sloane's going to be out on this wing all game.
The hero from last week, Dawson at half-back, kicks it into the middle. And the mark taken by Schoenberg, gets onto it quickly and all on his own here at left half forward. Sloane bounce didn't really favour him. He was able to gather it though. Got it back inboard towards Smith. And again, Sloane under enormous pressure. McGrath went for the big fly, and the Adelaide Pro underneath him came off second best in Schoenberg, but they've paid the mark. It's McGrath going short to Parrish.
Great effort. Terrific courage. You know, balls in the air. How much do you want it? McGrath didn't hesitate, went up and got it and won himself a free kick. Inspirational.
Harris, a little short ball to Hind, who will kick over the mark up the line. Waterman trying to pluck at the air, trying to go to work at ground level as well with that strong body. Dawson in there for the Crows. Shovel was there, only as far as McGrath. Hip ball, Redmond storming through. Spirals one towards the 50. Right head front position. And they cut across his path, the Crows. Dawson, Laird, the mop-up starts at half-back. Rowe. He can run through the heart of Marvel. They've got a couple lined up. One is Murphy. Can they take advantage here? Rochelle sprinting back towards goal, and a one-on-one with Zirk Thatcher, who's trying to get a spoil. Rochelle tracks it back towards goal. Kept his feet beautifully, the young man, and kicks the goal for the Crows, who came storming off half-back up the middle of the ground. All square at 3-2-20 apiece.
Well, that's a great piece of ball movement, really, because you have the outnumbering your defensive 50, and that's usually the case because numbers get back so hard. Peter Wright competed, but Adelaide were able to win a ground ball inside defensive 50, and then away they went. So Frampton got involved. Dawson started to get busy. Laird was there, and his switch across to Rowe, and then this was the one. He pings it through the middle of the ground here, Jimmy Rowe. They've done this a couple of times, and Murphy's seen the full gamer and he's gone, well, he's as good as anyone in our team one-on-one. And Rochelle has just kept his feet. You called it beautifully. He has that big trunk, the big behind that a lot of good players have, and his low centre of gravity. Kept his feet. Walk-in goal. Terrific strength and composure from a young player, and Adelaide's ball movement was terrific.
Kane Corns, thanks to buymystock.com.au. Good game of footy this, 3-2-20 apiece back in the middle of the ground. Tackle affected on Keys. Parrish got a hurried kick. It dribbles towards the outer side wing. Dawson's got plenty of time to snaffle it. Made a bit of a meal of it though, and he's turned it over. Handball in the air was snaffled by Martin, who then kicks it short to right. Right for Essendon, takes the mark, 45-degree angle, 45 metres out, and has a chance to break the deadlock at 3-2-20 with 27 and a half minutes gone first term.
Well, isn't Martin having an impact? I mean, to break a tackle there and then find another target inside 50, and that's also a tough skill in this game, is to find a target inside 50. He's done it twice. Peter Wright struck the last one well and hit the post. See how he goes.
Kicking to the right of your radio dial. Made no mistake that time. Bombers back in front. 4-2-26 to the Adelaide Crows. 3-2-20. 28 minutes gone thanks to Makita.
Well, they lifted their pressure on that occasion, the Bombers. The last goal, backline transition, far too easy against for the Rochelle goal. Now, Dawson just had a fumble, had another fumble. Archie Perkins came in for a great tackle and then missed tackle from Mitch Hinge on Martin, and he's just gone, just a nice little lob, identified the space in front of Peter Wright. That's the second goal they've got off turnover in their front half, and if they continue that pressure up, they're going to get a lot of looks, because Adelaide aren't the most polished side and they seem to be taking a few risks, but you up your pressure, you cause a turnover, you go back and score from it. That's modern footy right there.
Big Sunday of footy still to follow. St Kilda, Hawthorn, Gold Coast, Carlton a little bit later on for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. Back in the middle, Phillips getting his hands on it again. McGrath under immediate pressure. Martin worked it out to Parrish. They break the Bombers. Kick towards half forward. Durham competed in the air. He kept his feet nicely. Shield over the top with a handball. The snap at goal for the Bombers is good. It's very good from Perkins. Much shorter with those locks, Matty. And he's got some class inside 50, and the Bombers with another one on the board at about, how long we got to play? Not long at all in this opening quarter, about a minute on the Robot Building Supply scoreboard. Robot's got it.
well, there's a couple of ways you can score in footy. The previous goal was off turnover, that goal centre bounce. So mentioned it and you called it BP. I reckon Phillips is jumping really well. I reckon I wouldn't be surprised if both ruckmen got a bit of a rocket this week. Draper started on the bench. Yeah. Phillips started in the ruck, and he's been all over Riley O'Brien. He's just leaping. They got it up. They win a scramble ball in the middle. They win the one-on-one on the out of side, and then the follow-up. Adelaide pressed up, which meant Essendon had the numbers over the back, and just a terrific finish, as you mentioned, from Perkins.
Bombers by 12 late in the first term. And again, Bombers win the tap. Parrish blasting out of the centre, kicks it long towards right. At the fall is Waterman, grabs it, handball over the top, Shield, but a really good bit of interception from the Crows. Jones punched it away and threw for a behind for the Bombers. It's 33-20. We've been going 30 and a half with Makita in the first term.
So Hinge comes out of his defensive goal square. Long ball right up the middle here for the Crows. O'Brien trying to flick it over the back. Umpire's blown a whistle. We've got a free kick, O'Brien against Phillips. For some contact. He wants to lay it off by hand, the ruckman, but Frampton calling it for on our side here. Now the long kick inside forward 50. Himmelberg territory. Sloan. Great tackle on Redmond. He'll pin the arms and the ball stops. One last chance for the Crows inside the last 30 seconds. Snap one here. O'Brien at the drop. Sloan. Crouch. Scholl gets onto his right. Gets a bit of space. He floats it home. Huge goal for Adelaide. Right on the cusp of quarter time. And they pull one back, and that is a goal of the game contender for host. Plus, that's a plus, Kane.
Yeah, well, that hurts. That hurts if you played Carousel at Ben Rutten watching from home. Forward stoppage, you've got all the numbers. It was a great jump from O'Brien. Sloan was in there. Who was the Bombers player that should have tackled but didn't? Get another look at that. It was Snelling. So that's the second mistake he's made inside defensive 50 today. You've got an opportunity to tackle your opponent. Tackle them. Well, why would you bump? What's the point of doing a bump? All you can do is get yourself reported when you bump. And Scholl's a classy player. That's one thing he is. And he was tough in that contest, maintained his feet and was good enough to finish against the run of play, considering Waterman had a walking goal up the other end that Adelaide saved. They go down and score with 15 seconds to score. That's an incredible blow for the Bombers on the stroke of quarter time.
O'Brien won the tap that time. Only as far as the Rovers for the Bombers, and McGrath just skies it up in the air. No mark taken from Wanganeen. Hinge taken in a tackle very close to the siren here, near side wing. Hinge gets another opportunity right on the siren. So it's been a fascinating start, a fast start, and it's the home side, the Bombers in front. There's a little bit of a fracas going on here. Who's in the middle of this? Guelphy, Draper, just a bit of lip. Taylor Walker, Parrish. I think this little bit of push and shove is coming to a natural conclusion as the two teams part company. So a bit of spirit in it too. Bit happening at Marvel at quarter time. It's 5-3, 33 the Bombers. The Crows 4-2, 26.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Tyre Power. Save on Kumo. Store-wide super sale now on.
We buy stock that you can't move. BuyMyStock.com.au.
If your business has stock that you just can't move, you need BuyMyStock.com.au. They're stock clearing experts and can turn your unwanted stock into cash. Big or small, they'll clear it all. Make your unwanted stock problems go away. Visit BuyMyStock.com.au today. BuyMyStock.com.au.
We buy stock that you can't move. BuyMyStock.com.au.
SLB Fight Night presents Michael Zarafa versus Isaac Hardman. Battle it out April 20 at Melbourne Convention Exhibition Centre. Get your tickets at zarafatickets.com.au or live stream at zarafafite.tv. Get your tickets at zarafatickets.com.au.
Designer Appliances are your premium kitchen appliance specialists. With all the best brands, we can help create stylish spaces, converting the kitchen into the heart of your home. Visit us at Camberwell, Heidelberg, Rosebud and Montana South, or browse online at designerappliances.com.au.
ROBOT Robot Building Supplies.
The Man Cave. Shed,
garage, sports room, home office, whatever you want to call it, Robot Building Supplies has everything to renovate or build it.
Robot's got it.
Metal roofing, cladding, wall panelling.
Robot's got it.
Structural steel, timber, insulation.
Robot's got it.
With 24-hour delivery, get it done fast with Robot Building Supplies. Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
Hard Yakka. Toughness is our DNA. No shortcuts. Born in 1930, Hard Yakka's legendary status is in its heritage. Work hard, play hard. And we don't play by the rules. We write them. That's why we've designed the ultimate men's and women's gear and boots for your no-nonsense lifestyle. Designed to work hard on the job or on your weekend adventures. So do your mate or family member a favour. Get them the gear that'll make them feel like a legend. They'll thank you for it. Head to hardyakka.com.au or visit your nearest stockist today.
Hey, Nick Del Santo here. I played over 300 games in the AFL, but I still remember my first game as a rookie. Back then, I needed all the advice I could get. So, if you're after an apprenticeship and need the same kind of expert help, don't go past MEGT. MEGT is Australia's largest and only national apprenticeship network provider, making them your true local apprenticeship experts. With MEGT, a winning career could be yours. So check out their free job board today. Visit MEGT.com.au or call 13MEGT.
Which oil keeps your business moving? Fleet managers with essential supplies on a deadline? They know. Road crews who keep every motorist safe? They know. Mechanics who make sure you always get to where you're going? They know. And when you really think about it, you know. Valvoline, the original engine oil.
Rockstar Games' blockbuster Grand Theft Auto Online is now available for free on PlayStation 5. Chart your rise from the streets to criminal kingpin in a living online world with stunning new visuals, haptic feedback from the DualSense wireless controller, and more. Migrate your existing GTA Online characters and progress for special bonuses. Get GTA Online on PS5 for free until June 14th via the PlayStation 5 console store. PlayStation Plus required to play.
PlayStation. On the biggest stage, the best players light up the field. For those in the trade, it's Illuminate Garden Lighting. Simple, safe and trade quality tough. Tradies, you're going to kick serious goals when you use Illuminate Garden Lighting. Decking and entertaining areas, barbecues and gardens. The heavy-duty, high-quality Illuminate Garden Lighting range is in a league of its own. How does your garden glow? Illuminate, Australia's easiest garden lighting system. Available from Bunnings.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now.
Good ball, just inside 50. Durham's on the end of it. First shot at goal coming up here for the Bombers. 49 metres from home. He sunk the slipper into that one. Got a great connection. And that is the perfect start. Murphy, Dawson, the left footers all combining. Long ball to Tex. Couple of bites, he's got it. Hooks it on the left. And Tex Walker, welcome back. As the Crows players get around him.
AFL Nation highlights for McDonald's. Footy's back and I'm loving it. Never miss a single goal with McDelivery.
Quarter time at Marvel Stadium, 5-3-33 the Bombers, 4-2-26 for the Crows. Riders kick 2, singles to Perkins, Durham and Waterman, and Rochelle Walker, Rowe and Scholl, the individual goal kickers as far as Adelaide's concerned. Some thoughts from Kane Corns to quarter time.
Yeah, some of those safety still shed stats. The Bombers dominating around the footy. So 17 hit-outs to 6. As we mentioned, Phillips and Draper have been terrific. Clearances 13-8, but the all-important centre clearances 6-2. So that has given them first use. Adelaide have actually done pretty well to only be down by the margin that they are at quarter time with that late goal that flooded them a little bit with the scoreboard. It's been all Essendon, I think, around the footy.
The second term on AFL Nation. Crows with the clearing possession towards right half forward. No mark taken at the front. Ridley in defence. Handball to Caldwell. Shrugs the tackle, did pretty well and got the handball off to Parrish. Parrish with a bit of a hospital pass in the end to Hind, who was able to get rid of the football. Rowe, handballs behind him. Doday, handball to Dawson. Handball to Keys, who sends it in long. No one home though for the Crows. Laverde in defence gets the handball out wide, and the clearing kick from Ham to the outer wing for Essendon.
Spreads it to Shield.
Just a disappointing last kick from Benny Keys there.
Chips it over to Caldwell, who's continued to run the lines.
He's been good. He's been tough inside and covers the ground really well, Jai Caldwell.
Little half volley ball to Hine. He's got plenty of time to size up the options here. Goes wide towards half forward Waterman territory, and Frampton right there as well with him, and off hands out of bounds for a throw-in. The second quarter for Tyre Power. Save on Toyo. Massive Easter sale now on, and McDonald's Macca's Chicken Deluxe range together and loving it. Order via McDelivery.
Almost right half forward for the Bombers. Draper won the tap towards Caldwell, and Keys, who was dispossessed, led hurried handball to Scholl. Round the body he goes. Along the boundary line, Heppel, can he pick up the football? He's under pressure. He got it to McGrath. McGrath, handball Laverty. He's under pressure. Virtually threw it out to Caldwell. Then Heppel with a handball towards Perkins, and also Snelling, who was under pressure. They work it pretty well along the outer wing, do the Bombers. Bang inside 50 from Caldwell. Wright was at the back, Himmelberg at the front. And in fact, it was Frampton with the similar haircut. And Frampton gets the free kick. Got smacked in the head. So at half back, it's the Crows with Frampton.
Size up the options for the exit kick here from defensive 50. Goes wide. Draper with a big double fister over the top.
Great. It's good. There's not many physical statements you can make in footy these days. You can't even tackle to ground anymore because you're nervous. Jordan DeGoey style that you'll get rubbed out, but a big physical spoil from a big man makes a statement. And as I said, Essendon's rucks have been terrific so far.
Opening 2 minutes on the Makita clock. We're all the outdoors. So Brian got a hand on it.
Which way is that going to go?
Little hold of the jumper.
No one knew.
It's going to be going to Draper, and I can't say I saw that, obviously. Way to Hine. Hine with the drilling ball inside 50. Tough one down low for Wright. Tries to keep it in front of him. Crouch was there. Releases a handball to Butts. With some contact. He'll take the free kick deep in defence here for the Crows. They're trying to get off half back at the moment. Opening 2.5 minutes. Bombers 5-3-33. The Crows 4-2-26. And no addition to the quarter time score.
So Butts to a pack of players on the outer wing. No mark taken. Falls through the back of the pack to Caldwell. Gives Hind a bit of space to run onto the football. He's in a real good challenge towards the boundary line with McHenry, who claimed that Hind walked it over deliberately, but nothing doing, and the ball will be thrown in. Left half forward here for the Crows. O'Brien and Draper to lock horns again. Shallow throw in. O'Brien won the tap only as far as Parrish, who got the hurried handball to McGrath. McGrath does a 180, centering kick towards Martin over his head. Dawson came through. Martin wrapped him up. Was he holding it? No, he wasn't. Umpire is going to ball it up edge of the square at centre half forward for the Adelaide Crows. Up it goes again. O'Brien won the tap only as far as Parrish. Handball Draper, handball Hind, who goes for a run. Through the middle he goes. Darts it to centre half forward, and Wright takes the mark. Probably too far out to score here.
Well, he has to have a shot now, really, because he took so long. He had even numbers forward of the ball. He didn't go there. He kicked a massive bomb from 53 in the first quarter. This is from 5 metres
58?
Yeah, 5 metres further, I was going to say. So take his absolute best. He'd want to kick it, though, because he did ignore some pretty good options.
He's inside the centre square from 58 metres. He's given it a ride, and it's going to be punched over for a behind.
Used to drive coaches mad. The ball that goes a metre out that can be easily spoiled through. We used to have a rule under Ken Hinkley that you had to measure how far you could kick, and on game day, if you were outside of that range, you weren't allowed to have a shot. So that's disappointing decision-making from Peter Wright, who looks good and looks sharp and has taken 2 contested marks, but poor option.
Essendon 34, Crows 26. It's at centre wing.
Nice mark to Dawson. Just in front of the interchange for Snaffle. Bite-sized payments win.
Deceptively tall BP and very good in the air for how slight he is.
The hero of last week, left-footed towards half-forward. Drop mark there by Kelly. Scouting the pack was Lockie Murphy. A convincing handball by McGrath. Crows still alive here through Rowe. They flick it back to Laird. Laird trying to get the purchase to the goal square. He does. To Rochelle, who kicks his second. And the Crows just forced the turnover. They hunted. They got ball in hand. And they cut the margin back to 2 points. 5-4-34 the Bombers, 5-2-32 for the Crows on the Athena home line scoreboard.
Yeah, we mentioned in the first quarter with Wright and your ability to take a contested mark. Well, Dawson did exactly that for a wingman. And what a luxury down the line to go to a wingman who is probably nearly 194, 95 centimetres, took a good mark, sent it inside 50. Bombers were in good position. Coughed it up. Adelaide just butted up with numbers. They just had numbers around the ball, and they always, when they're under pressure, had an option to give it to. So Laird has the snap, and Rochelle bobs up. Adelaide's most dangerous forward. He's their leading goal kicker for the year with 9, and he turns up 1 metre out from goal with no one on him. I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but a bit of a letdown and a bit of a brain fade from the Bombers.
6 minutes gone, second term on AFL Nation. Essendon 5-4-34, the Crows 5-2-32. Draper in the middle, just got a tap only as far as Keys for the Crows, who swings onto the left boot towards right half forward. Heppel at the front. Was he being held? No, it's going to go the other way. McHenry gets the free kick.
5. The safety still sheds stats, as you can hear from the crowd.
McHenry kicks it in long. Fall of the ball to Scholl. Scholl, I reckon the Bombers are going to get a free kick here, though. At the back, Himmelberg infringed.
He was charging through.
So the Bombers, as Kane mentioned, the free kick count 9-5 in favour of the Crows at the moment.
That's where he does well,
Laverty has it over on the far side.
Never obviously playing against his old side, never questioning his courage, just stood there and knew what was coming and won himself and his team a free kick.
Laverty up the line. Grand level ball to be won. Can the Crows sweep on this and clear it off half back? Keys got involved. Now they spread it to Dawson. Dawson can pitch it over the top here. It's a nicely weighted ball to Rowe. He can drill it inside forward 50 over the back. Himmelberg, but cut off by Kelly, his former teammate.
Save the day again. But
intercepts.
The Bombers are going to have to put a bit of time into Dawson, I reckon. So him and Smith are there. They get big ball winners. Crouch and Laird and Keys are big ball winners, but they don't hurt you like Dawson and Smith can do. And Jordan Dawson just starting to get busy for Ream, over 80 years manufacturing in Australia. He's running hot.
Snelling sent it long to the pack and fisted over the boundary line, right in front of the broadcast area. True centre wing near side.
So Draper does the first 7 minutes. Phillips comes on with fresh legs, just really trying to put some work into Riley O'Brien.
Phillips worked his way to the front, Crouch at the fall of the ball. Dawson, hurried kick off hands. McGrath for the Bombers, got it very quickly to Parrish. Handball to Heppel. Heppel just pops it up into the air with a short, sharp kick and found Perkins. With bright shoes on Perkins. Swings around onto the right boot, sends it inside 50, right at the back. No mark taken, but fell to Waterman. Handball to Durham. Durham out even wider to Redmond onto the right, stepped round the body. Goal to the Bombers. Their 6th. 8.5 minutes gone in the second term. And the Bombers just holding that buffer at the moment. They lead by 8 here at Marvel Stadium.
Yeah, so we'll give that goal from stoppage, throwing just in front of our commentary box position here. They won the inside ball, got it to Perkins, which took some heat out of the game. He ended up going long. Peter Wright lost his opponent in Butts, who fell over, but he went up against 3 Adelaide defenders, was good enough to bring the ball to the ground. And that's why we say it's so important for your forwards not to get outmarked, because it sucks all the momentum out of it if the opposition intercept the mark. Brought it to ground. Redmond was lucky as well, because I reckon he had a teammate just on the outside of his right boot. Didn't give it, went the snap. Thankfully it went through, so no damage done, but really good ground ball effort from the Bombers forwards to create that opportunity.
Kane Corns for buymystock.com.au, our expert. Plenty of analysis this afternoon. Phillips getting his hands on it again. Who's going to get the clearance? Parrish escaped the tackle. Little deft touch there from Shield. Perkins tracking the football. Parrish gets across. Umpire's blown a whistle. It was the non-officiating umpire there, yeah. He's seen a hold and Laird in the middle. Then the run came from Frampton. A long ball inside forward 50. Down towards Gallant. Little dribbling kick here from Tex. He's rolled it home. Ball cut out the back. Walker's kicked his second. Crows get the quick reply and cut the margin again. A lightning second quarter here, 6-4-40 to 6-2-38. Bombers by 2 for Athena home loans. You can pay down your home loan faster with Athena Home Loans.
It's what they do. I mean, they had probably no right to get a goal there because, once again, it was from the centre bounce. It looked as though Essendon had control of the footy. They certainly had first possession, a couple of fumbles. Laird got in, sloppy free kick against. It was a 50-50 one probably that Adelaide seemed to be getting the better of. Frampton's run off half-back was important because it just gave it an extra 10 metres launch inside 50. And, I mean, Taylor Walker, that was something out of nothing. And he just picked it up off the ground, one step, dribbled it through, almost off his shin. But anyway, he's kicked two, and Adelaide just hang in there, don't they? They stick around.
Back in the middle, O'Brien and also Phillips. Phillips won the tap. And then Laird was being held. Free kick Crows. Well, that was pretty evident, even though the Bombers supporters don't like it. Palms it off to Scholl, sends it in long. All over it was Redmond at the front of the pack and takes the mark. It's centre half back for Essendon. So Redmond plays on quickly. Running for him, Durham. Durham takes the mark. Just forward of centre wing for the Bombers. Running for him all on his own is Heppel. Heppel 70 metres out. Darts one low and the mark taken by Waterman.
It's good play. It was great play from Redmond. Intercept mark, didn't hesitate and just launched a 50-metre bullet to the outer wing to Durham, and who's been important. He's been having some really nice touches, and Heppel doesn't move as fast as he used to, but I thought his run to create off half-back and get involved and link up, and another terrific dart inside 50 to Waterman, who Frampton defended pretty well, but there's nothing he could do to stop that.
Waterman got one in the first quarter, sends it to the right, doesn't quite get to the line, and through hands for a behind. Essendon 6-5-41, Adelaide Crows 6-2-38, 12 minutes gone thanks to Athena Home Loans.
So Brown puts it back into play for the Crows. Sprints it wide to Butts at half-back. And he'll chip it over the top to the presenting Rory Sloane. So they've got it outside defensive 50. Sloane's eyes darting everywhere. He's trying to maybe switch the footy, but he's going to go up the line with the kick. Finds Crouch. So they've worked it to the wing, the Crows, and then the numbers are drifting back for the Bombers. Trying to cut through the defence. It's an inboard kick. It wasn't the perfect spinning drop punt. Now a loose ball as it went to ground. Although they've just got to track back to wait for the cavalry. Durham swept a huge handball over the top. Parrish with a light little give. Brought down Martin. And they spill it at half forward, although the Crows aren't quite out because then the pressure came from the Bombers. They are trying to get out Adelaide in the tight confines. Redmond pressed up on Frampton. Used his pace beautifully. Works it to the goal square and right there on the last line. Hinge got it through for a behind. The Crows will try and reset from the kicking again.
When they go on this ground, they move the ball faster than any team I've seen move the ball. It can ping from one end of the ground so quickly to the other, but the Bombers, good defending. They get the smother there. They try and lock this ball in.
Hinge under enormous pressure. Guelphy tackles him and holding the ball, so Essendon is going to get it here at right half forward.
So they look really good when they're doing this because their ball movement's in place. They've got everything there. They've been strong from stoppage. The one area that I think they've been a little bit lapsed just at times is that forward half pressure, which they absolutely brought then, and that just lifts the whole group.
So Guelphy 60 metres out, sends it to the pocket. Working his way to the front was Phillips, slapped away from him. Sloane hurried handball only as far as Parrish. Inboard handball puts Crouch under a little bit of pressure for the Crows, but he works his way out a little bit of trouble, kicks it to a 50-50. Bombers turn it over. Guelphy handball now up against the boundary line as Wanganeen snaps round the body. Wanganeen right takes the mark. Right takes the mark. Only about 4 metres out directly in front.
So listen to the crowd. This is all built on forward pressure. All of it. Yeah, it's great, and you'll get the bonus of the way that they can transition the ball off half back and move it. But if they can bring that forward half pressure, you give yourself repeat opportunities.
Directly in front. Point blank range. And Peter Wright sends it into the third level of Marvel Stadium for his third goal. Essendon 7-6-48. And they just keep that little buffer, that important buffer, the home side, over the Adelaide Crows here in the second term. 7-6-48, 6-2 38 for the Adelaide Crows, 15 minutes second term, thanks to Athena home loans.
Terrific press from Ridley. So left his man, forced the spoil on Rochelle, kept the ball in play, and then Wanganeen's just got that bit of Wanganeen about him, doesn't he? Just that bit of brilliance. So in and out of traffic, left foot, right to the top of the goal square, and Peter Wright's got the better of Jordan Butts at the moment. In fact, I don't really have an answer for him at the moment. That was his third contested mark. Second goal, was it, for the game? Third goal for the game already. So he could be in line for a big afternoon.
Bombers by 10 points. 15 and a half minutes, Makita clock. Shield with a clearance to Caldwell. Quick through the air from 50. It'll clear the pack. Lightning stuff from the middle from Essendon. And that gets the red and black army to another decibel level. 8-6-54. Crows 6-2-38. Athena home loan scoreboard.
Absolute steam train out of the middle of the ground. This has been, I think, terrific coaching. I reckon they've identified this. So Himmelberg's gone in there. Draper's gone, I'm a big, angry, aggressive ruckman. I'm just going to put this 10 metres in front for my midfielders to run onto it, who are all on the same page. Look at them. They go before the ball's even been tapped. Dylan Shield was great in traffic, found Caldwell, and the finish under pressure from 50, absolutely magnificent. So the Bombers game is in really good order. They should be further in front, but now they need to turn the screws. Himmelberg stays in there. Can Draper do the same?
So back in the middle, and they negate each other that time, those two aforementioned players. As Laird got at the crowd, standing two-man tackle, holding the ball.
Lifted here. This has got a bit of a Melbourne feel about it. Melbourne play in sort of gears. So they've dropped the clutch here, the Bombers, and they've shifted to another gear, which the best teams in the competition can do. Now, are Adelaide good enough to respond and perhaps, take some oxygen out of this game of footy, because the Bombers are having a moment here?
Shield to Durham behind, and now it's Snelling. 55 metres out, sends it long, rights at the side. Butts took the mark.
Poor kid. Snelling's having an ordinary afternoon. He just needed more air on that footy going inside 50.
And now the Crows can reload in the back pocket through Duday, and they go short up the centre, a little bit risky, but the mark taken by Smith.
So can they find a chip mark a little bit here? The Bombers have done well to force them long down the line again.
We know he's a sweeping kick. Dawson's the target. He'll get nice purchase on that. Up the middle they go. Adelaide, he's just got to check the kick here. It went over the head of Rochelle. Just needed to measure that one much better to half forward. Trying to dive into the mark. Durham, he just recovered beautifully. 10th AFL game. I reckon he's made an impression every game he's played, and he's copped a knock as he was handballing wide towards Perkins.
I love him. I haven't seen enough of him as they turn it over here. Wanganeen didn't know it was coming.
And now he's got to go to work. Lays the tackle on Duday. Ball spilled out. Jones underneath it. At the back. Jones gets another opportunity. There's Durham again. He just went a fraction high that time.
Yeah, I reckon
he's
a bit zapped. He's been in a number of contests. You just got to get him off for a 5-minute spell, pat him on the back, and then get him back out there as McGrath was dropped off the ball by Dawson, but umpire didn't see anything there as Caldwell comes off for a spell.
Jones in short to Crouch all the way back to Duday. Score check 8-6-54, 6-2-38. So the Bombers a little bit of breathing space. 18 travel to the second quarter here on AFL Nation.
So Smith at half-back goes short to Jones into the centre square, and now Laird.
This is good. So this is what I was asking from Adelaide. Just take a bit of control back.
Laird, handball to Jones, who's going to send it in long, top of the square for the Crows. No mark taken, should have been taken in the end. At the fall of the ball, Murphy got the handball towards Rowe, who was taken high, and he got his head taken off and gets the free kick.
Late whistle. It's one of the... I guess it's one of the rules that frustrates people, and 50-metre penalties here. I'm not sure who that was again, possibly for a bit of feedback from the Bombers players, but this is the second one Jimmy Rowe has got for too high. He's a low centre of gravity player as he goes back and puts this through to the disgust of the Essendon fans. But there's nothing really in the rule book that says you can't do what he's done. No. He's in there low. He might have dropped his knees, but you still have to execute a legal tackle, which Laverde didn't do on that occasion. And Rowe's pretty happy with himself. Once again, Adelaide kick a goal against the run of play. It's the free kicks there.
So Essendon 8-6-54, Adelaide Crows 7-2-44. We've been going 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was Draper. So just having a look, it was pretty ordinary from Big Sammy Draper. He had a real crack at Rowe for telling him he ducked, and then he went 3 goes at the umpire. So there's always going to be a 50-metre penalty, and I'm sure that's a great look.
Overall, the players have learned, haven't they, in the first 3 or 4 rounds, not to give too much lip to the umpires. They've been going pretty well, but that was evident.
Look at him. He's gone 3 or 4 times here at the umpire.
Well, can he make amends in the middle and just put it into the breadbasket of someone here? Draper trying to flick it down to Parrish. He can't escape the clutches of Keys. He eventually did squeeze a little handball out. Little toe poke forward by McGrath. Gathered by Durham was good again. We can't sing his praises enough. The young man Parrish. Shield. Martin measures one to Peter Wright. He had a fair bit of it. And over the shoulder anyway. Advantage. Bombers. McGrath. Parrish. Kicks towards half forward. Redmond got a hand on it. Ball ricochets out of their forward 50. Only as far as Hind though. And Hind will chip it over the top to Redmond. 65 from home. Wright's deep. Draper's deep. And tried to go in short to Guelphy. It's cut off by Hinge here for the Crows.
Hinge gets on with it quickly. Comes near side. Finds Scholl. So Scholl with a bit of space and time. Stops. Props. Goes short. Finds Frampton. So Frampton goes up the middle, finds McHenry. He had Guelphy bearing down on him, took the mark, sends it long towards centre half forwards. Sloan was at the back, and the mark taken in the end at the front for the Bombers. And they're going to spread it wide again. Here's Laverde. Finds Zirk Thatcher. Right in front of the members near side for the Bombers. So Zirk Thatcher to a swarm of players. They fly through the hands of Heppel. Got a second chance. Durham, handball out to Guelphy. Guelphy, quick hands. Now Heppel round the body he goes. Towards left half forward. Shield was at the back. Just gave a little nudge and the umpire saw it. A free kick to Duday.
So Duday parked at half-back. If you're just joining us, 8-6-54, the Bombers, the Crows, 7-2-44, competitive first half. Hugs the boundary line with a kick. Gallant flew off hands, will have it tossed in.
So just their tall forwards that did so much damage last week, Adelaide. So Glant's had a couple of opportunities, hasn't made the most of those with a couple of behinds. Himmelberg, nothing, and Taylor Walker in the side with 2 goals. So he's been the pick of the key forwards for Adelaide.
AFL Nation for Icon Services, solutions that matter. Guelphy attack the ball well. Parrish gathered a Shield. Left boot, it's a wide ball inside 50. Down towards Draper, he got hands on it with Frampton. He was able to recover to Jones, who comes across his defensive goal square and he hits Dawson. Lace out with the pass.
Been almost for Draper forward. He's almost had a free kick. He's almost taken a couple of big marks. He did the hard part there, couldn't bring it down.
Dawson goes long to the centre wing and goes over the boundary line. We've been going 23 and a half minutes, second term on AFL Nation. Essendon 8-6-54. Adelaide Crows 7-2-44 as Archie Perkins comes back onto the grounds.
Parrish up to 23, but I must admit, I don't think it's been an influential game from Darcy Parrish. Just 8 kicks and only 181 metres gained from those 23 disposals.
Phillips got it to Snelling out of the ruck work on the outer side. Fell to Smith. Hurriedly gets it onto the boot. No one home for the Adelaide Crows, and Parrish took the mark on the outer side for the Bombers.
I mean, it's prolific. I mean, anyone who gets 50 possessions for a game, which he's on track for, is prolific, but it hasn't been his most damaging game, I reckon.
Parrish to right half forward. Guelphy at the back through his fingertips. Fell to Butts. Hurried handball along the boundary, and it goes over right on the 50-metre arc over on the far side of the ground. It's Essendon by 10.
Laird's had 19 for the Crows. Safety still shed stats, but 76 metres gained and only 6 kicks, so not a lot of damage there. McGrath has had 14. I'd like to see Essendon's best midfielders kick the footy a bit more so than handballing it. They're a very high handball team. There's another free kick goes to Adelaide, this time to O'Brien in the run.
Over the shoulder, away to the sweeping right boot of Brodie Smith. Transfers across half-back to Scholl. He cuts back inboard with the kick. Now Frampton sends it towards half forward. It was a nicely weighted ball in the end. Gallant on the end of it, so good transition from Adelaide. Now a shot at goal.
There's a great transition. Free kick against, once again, I'll get those free kick team stats for you in a second, but it's all been in favour of Adelaide for safety still. But the ability to get the footy over to the open side, but then bring it back inboard to Frampton, who, once you have that time and space and your forwards have time to work, you just got to put it out in front, which Frampton was good enough to do for Gallant. And this is a really important kick from 51 metres out.
The young 20-year-old had a couple of shots in the first quarter, right on the 50. Puts plenty behind it. And the Bombers will get it through for a behind. Almost got the journey. Draper was down there. And now Heppel will play on from deep in defence and try and set the Bombers up.
Kicks it long towards the outer side, 2-on-1, and the Crows had the numbers. The big man O'Brien took the mark, virtually with one hand. Goes short, finds Smith, sends it towards Rowe, takes it, snaffles it, and then runs with it, and then sends it down the throat of Himmelberg, who took the mark 30 metres out.
The ball use, that's what he... So when he had that first shot on goal, Jimmy Rowe, you said, you may get 8 or 9 opportunities today, and I'm not exactly sure the total number of possessions he has had, but it would be about 6, I reckon, and 3 goals or 3 shots on goal. He's kicked 2, and this should be an absolute certainty.
Well, his game total almost matches his goal total. 30 goals from 31 games. Himmelberg, and makes the goal umpire work a little, but it's gone through. So we've got a terrific game here. 26 gone in the second term. It's Essendon 8-6-54. And the Adelaide Crows, they're only a couple of points behind now here on AFL Nation. 8-3-51, a 3-point buffer.
Yeah, they don't really have any right to be this close. But when you look at all the numbers, Bombers +8, inside 50s, dominating around the ball. They've definitely had the best key forward on the ground, and most of the time they look the most dangerous, but this is what Adelaide do. This is what they build their game around. It's been annoying and hard to play against, and they hang in, they don't give up. But it was great ball use from Jimmy Rowe, who's been pretty important and influential for Adelaide. Kicked a couple and setting that goal up assist for Himmelberg for his first. Good to see him getting involved in the game.
Yeah, they've hung around Adelaide. Just when we thought the Bombers might be able to get out to that 4 or 5 goal advantage. Little fumble from Parrish. McGrath had his handball cut off. Real big 50-50 ball to be won in the middle here. O'Brien trying to stand his ground. The smaller Bombers. Hine was trying to charge through. Scholl did nicely. And spreads it to Dawson. He's got some metres in front of him. He can tuck it under the arm. A couple of bounces for the rangy left footer. Inside forward 50. Himmelberg trying to get to the position to mark. Walker was down there. Murphy at the drop. Snaps on the left boot. And it was a diving Ben Keys.
Did Keys touch it as he's dived for the mark, or did he not touch it? Because the ball's done a miraculous bounce. Now, looking at Keys' reaction, he grabbed his head with his hands.
Please confirm when it was touched before the line.
But as we go down for
review underway,
a score review from Roofing and Sheet Metal Centre, all your sheet metal products Australian made, quality guaranteed. They're setting up as though it's a kick in. It looks as though Keys has touched it, doesn't it?
Oh, I think there's enough of that outstretched left hand there. I didn't see the last bit of the turn there, but they've got a score review.
They're enough to overturn it. I think he's definitely touched it, but because they've called a goal, can the person upstairs overturn that all the way?
And the person looking at the review, have a look at the guilt on the face of Keys when he thought he touched it.
Big moment in the game. Murphy likes it.
So we wait here as the arc spins. Trying to adjudicate this one.
It's almost the more they show it, the harder it is to work it out. Do you think he touched it, Kane? I reckon he did.
I think he definitely touched it, but I don't know if I was the person making the decision whether I could confidently say that he did. I've watched the Easy Debit replay, join Easy Debit today a million times.
Review complete. Looking at this angle, you can see the ball deviates after making contact with the left hand of the Adelaide attacker. Decision on the scoreboard.
Controversial, I reckon. Right call in the end, I think. And Benny Keys certainly isn't arguing, so you usually learn a fair bit from the player who's involved. Yeah. Big moment in the game though, BP.
Indeed, that's the Crows did so much right in the build-up there.
So Redmond goes short to Laverty in the back pocket. For the Bombers, we've been travelling 29.5 minutes in this second term for Athena as the kick long to Heppel, near side wing, right in front of the broadcast area here at Marvel. So Heppel goes for a little bit of a jog, sends it on the left boot towards left half forward. O'Brien at the front couldn't take the mark. Spills to Parrish for Essendon. Handball back to Heppel. Long handball to Draper. Handball to Parrish, and then just yanks one towards left half forward through the hands in the end of Ham, who probably should have marked it, and over for a boundary throw in 45 metres around from the Essendon goal.
So inside the last minute, 8 goals apiece in the opening half. And Snaffle one more. Here the Bombers. O'Brien over the top of Draper. Keys the gather. Away to Laird, who just hoiks it towards the wing. Laverty and Himmelberg go at it. Off hands, out of bounds. We'll reset. So a big second quarter for Tyre Power and McDonald's. Huge for the Bombers this afternoon. Not to be 0-4, but Adelaide is right in their face. Trying to win on the road. O'Brien and Draper. Durham got the strength. He was able to dribble one towards Martin. Martin can send it inside 50. Plenty of air in the Sharon there. Coming across Dawson, he got a couple of hands on it, couldn't control the mark. Duday tries to handball back boundary side. Martin escapes the tackle, gives it away to Caldwell. He'll poke it into the pocket here. Mark taken by Waterman on a tight angle. And he may just kick after the siren.
Yeah, he might need some advice here because he's a left footer, 20 down to 16 seconds. The umpire blew time on. He'll blow it again here, but I don't know what his right foot on the body's like.
So Waterman to go. The banana from the pocket. Crowd will tell you. Right on the siren. Alec Waterman kicks his second. That's some way to sign off the opening half. 9-6-60 the Bombers, the Crows 8-4-52. So we'll mark a secondary goal there for Waterman. Peter Wright's kicked 3. Singles to Caldwell, Perkins, Durham and Redmond. 2 apiece for Shelley and Walker, as well as Jimmy Rowe, and singles to Himmelberg and Lachlan Scholl for the Adelaide Crows. Still the Hawks and the Saints, the Gold Coast and Carlton to come a little bit later on. We'll get into all our halftime analysis coming up next. The Bombers lead it by 8 points here at halftime.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for McDonald's. Macca's Chicken Deluxe Range. Together and loving it. Order via McDelivery.
Have you got a dream renovation, a dream man cave?
Robots got it.
Robot Building Supplies can help you get the job done. Robot's been servicing the building, fencing, engineering, roofing and cabinet making industries for over 70 years now. So when it comes to experience and reliability,
Robots got it.
With 24-hour delivery, dream one day, build the next. Robot Building Supplies. Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
If you're on the hunt for some fun these holidays, you're in for a treat at Sexyland. There's 15% off chocolatey body paint and liqueur-flavoured massage oils, and 20% off selected rabbit toys, plus a free gift with any Lilo purchase, and loads more in store and online. Sexyland, 11 stores in Melbourne and Geelong. Can't wait? Get 2-hour delivery at sexyland.com.au.
Take me now, I'm coming. Take me now, Sexyland.
This is the sound of Julian's bargain price vacuum with deep express suction. This is the sound of Julian trying to fix his bargain price vacuum, which infuriates him deeply. Yes, this is the sound of bargain regret. When it comes to the important stuff, like insurance, don't risk it. Go to Amy instead. Who offers great value cover you won't regret? Amy does. Before buying insurance issued by AAI Limited Trading as Amy, read the PDS at amy.com.au. TMD also available.
Footy is made up by lots of bite-sized plays. A good pass here, a nice kick there, maybe snaffling possession. But adding up all of these bite-sized plays can get you big wins. It's the same with Snaffle. Get stuff you want now and pay it off with bite-sized payments. Now that's a huge win. Snaffle. Grab a Snaffle wallet today at snaffle.com.au.
Terms, conditions, fees, charges and lending criteria apply. Credit provided by Walker Stores Proprietary Limited. Australian Credit Licence 393023.
Something wonderful happens when you visit Mildura. The city vibe continues, but the outback's only moments away. Fresh produce is endless, the embers are hotter, and the night skies seem longer. Nature sings, kangaroos graze, and the sun glistens magically on the river. Photos captured and stories told are shared amongst family and friends. So, when you're ready, start your journey with us. Visit mildura.com.au.
Never before in business history has the combination of hygiene, cleaning and recycling been more important. COVID changed everything and businesses need to trust their cleaning suppliers more than ever. So place your trust in Icon Services Australia, a market leader for commercial cleaning, hygiene and recycling services. Icon look after sporting organisations like the Sydney Roosters, the Gold Coast Titans and Carlton in the AFL. Keeping businesses clean and sustainable all over Australia. Get Icon Services Australia into your business. iconservices.com.au.
If your business has stock that you just can't move, buymystock.com.au. Make your unwanted stock problems go away. Visit buymystock.com.au today.
We buy stock that you can't move. buymystock.com.au.
Hey, Nick Del Santo here. As a rookie, I was mentored by some of the best footy brains around. After all, you don't play over 300 games without starting somewhere. In business, it's easy to find a gun rookie. Just call MEGT. As Australia's largest and only national apprenticeship network provider, MEGT are your local apprenticeship experts. Whether you're an employer who needs an apprentice or you're looking to kickstart your career as one, MEGT has you covered. Visit MEGT.com.au or call 13MEGT.
At Underworks, we're experts in socks. We test our all-day socks so they stay up all day. Test Underworks all-day socks for yourself. We're number one down under for socks.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now.
Lockie Murphy, a convincing handball by McGrath. Crow still alive here through Rowe. They flick it back to Laird. Laird trying to get the purchase to the goal square. He does. To Rochelle, who kicks his second. And the Crows just forced the turnover. They hunted. They got ball in hand. And they cut the margin back to 2 points.
With bright shoes on, Perkins swings around onto the right boot, sends it inside 50, right at the back. No mark taken, but Felden Waterman handball to Durham. Durham out even wider to Redmond onto the right, steps round the body. Goal to the Bombers.
Shield with a clearance to Caldwell. Quick through the air from 50. It'll clear the pack. Lightning stuff from the middle from Essendon. That gets the red and black army to another decibel level.
AFL Nation highlights for McDonald's. Footy's back and I'm loving it. Never miss a single goal with McDelivery.
AFL Nation at half-time in the main break here at Marvel Stadium. It's the Bombers 9-6-60 against the Adelaide Crows 8-4-52. And what's been at times a frantic contest, fascinating contest, but Essendon just holding that buffer through the second term. 3 goals to 2-metre Peter Wright. We've got 1 for Durham. We've got a double to Waterman. 1 goal as well to Redmond and also Caldwell, and also Archie Perkins with the 1 goal for Essendon. And for Adelaide, 2 for Rochelle, Walker and Rowe, 1 for Scholl and also 1 for Himmelberg. And as far as the statistics are wrapped for safety steel sheds designed to save, built to last as far as disposals are concerned, Darcy Parish for Essendon tops the pops with the 25 disposals, 9 kicks, 16 handballs. Rory Laird, 20 disposals, 7 kicks, 13 handballs. Dyson Heppel, 17 disposals, 9 kicks, 8 handballs. Jordan Dawson for the Crows, the hero of last week, 14 disposals, along with Andrew McGrath with 14, Matt Crouch, Adelaide with 13, Jai Caldwell with 12. We've given you the situation as far as the goal kickers. As far as marks go, Jordan Dawson and Peter Wright with 6 marks ahead of Rory Laird. For Adelaide, 5 marks. These stats are up for safety steel sheds designed to save, built to last. Running hot for Ream. Ask your plumber to install a Ream steady, hot and strong, as Kane Corns rejoins us here at half time. Running hot, what were the players that stood out for you, Kane? We'll just have to turn you on. For the first time, you're speechless, Kane. There you are, you're back.
I was on, but just back on now, which is good. I'm sure many people would like me off. But there's been a lot of midfielders as you went through getting big numbers, but the ones that are going to decide this game is the key forwards, I think, and Peter Wright has been that player for me. just the 6 disposals, but every time he goes near the footy, he looks like he's going to mark it. He's finished exceptionally well today with 3 goals. So he's the player for me that I think may decide the outcome of this game.
Hanger of the day for hangmytv.com.au, because that's what they do. Any hangers that come to mind? There weren't absolute speckies, but a couple of strong marks from the forwards.
Yeah, I don't think we've had any speckies really, but Peter Wright's taken 3 contested marks, but none of them to write home about, but they've certainly been more dominant in the air, the Bombers, as we mentioned throughout the call. Just pull up the contested mark stat today. Certainly been an area that they have been really strong in. Marks inside 50s 8-4 and contested marks 8-5. So the Bombers holding sway there.
Player of the day so far for Whirlpool Design for Environment. Now, I must say, Kane Corns, it's not very often a footballer gets the ball and 3 words came out of your mouth, and that's he's a star in Durham. You're very taken with him.
I'm big on him, because with young players you want to just see something, but I've seen more than something. So he's got electric speed, and he stays involved in the contest, and when he's out of position, he quickly regathers his position and either gets over to support or is able to win the one-on-one. So he's had 10 disposals and a goal, but every time he goes near the footy, something happens. He's had 3 tackles as well, so defensively he's been good. Jason Horne-Francis was terrific yesterday for North Melbourne and hasn't got the rising star yet. But who knows? If this young man can have another strong second half, he may pinch it off Jason Horne-Francis. So big half coming up for him from an individual and team point of view, but he's been great.
Pretty clean as far as an injury update is concerned for Safety HQ, safetyhq.com.au. Get to the new worker gear now. And just a reminder, Devon Smith for Essendon is the medical sub for the Bombers, and Adelaide Crows is Braden Cook. They haven't been activated as yet. The unmissable moments for Drinkwise. You won't miss a moment if you drink wise. For
goal
you,
on the sign was pretty good, I reckon, from Waterman. Like he's kicked 2 really important goals. One in the first quarter from a difficult angle on his right side for a left footer, and up against the boundary line. As the siren sounded, the ball's gone straight through that check side from the boundary. So that gave the Bombers a handy little lead at half time, and there was a couple of moments there that were important.
For Drinkwise, choose to Drinkwise, the unmissable moment. MEGT Rookie of the Day. Your local apprenticeship experts call 13MEGT today. Is Durham your man?
Yeah, we mentioned him, but also, I mean, Rochelli's been good again, hasn't he? Like, not prolific with his ball winning, because you're not going to be as a small forward, but 5 touches, couple of goals, and has now got, I reckon he's got 9 for the season. I'll just check that and make sure that he's absolutely correct. Yeah, he's got 9 goals for the season, which is Adelaide's leading goal scorer. It'd be a great story if a first-year player comes in as an 18, 19-year-old and leads their goal kicking, which he's on track to do.
Around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. You won't miss a goal this round. AFL Nation covering every single match, and coming up pretty soon, straight after the final siren here at Marvel Stadium. We'll try and get the theme song of the winning squad, and then of course Gold Coast versus Carlton from Metricon coming up at 4 o'clock Eastern time. Coach of the day for TC Boxes, home for trays, canopies and also toolboxes. Well, we mentioned what an opportunity it is for Blake Carosella, in the shadow for 15 years, gets the opportunity with the COVID protocols. And as you mentioned before the match, you don't believe that the game day coaching is as important, but still a real experience for Blake.
Hasn't made yet any big moves, as we said prior to the game. Most of those are made during the week. But I like the double teaming of Riley O'Brien in the ruck, and their want to push forward as ruckman. So that's a tactic that they're using. As soon as you compete for the stoppage, really push forward and test him. And I think that will be influential in the game, because Riley O'Brien's done a power of work and he's going to get more tired the longer this game goes on.
We'll be taking calls all weekend on the Kogan open line. Make the call. Switch to Kogan Mobile. $2.90 for 30 days with a big 20 gig of data. That was the halftime floor show, thanks to Choices Flooring. AFL Nation for Icon Services, solutions that matter. It is the home side, Essendon 9-6-60. The Crows 8-4-52 with the third quarter just around the corner here on AFL Nation.
A sports news update for Rolled. Eat good with Rolled. It's fast, fresh Vietnamese.
Star footballer Daisy Pearce says she hasn't decided if she will play on after Melbourne lost yesterday's AFLW Grand Final to Adelaide.
It wasn't hinging on a result or anything like that. It's just time to let things settle and reassess and hear the final details of what next year looks like, all of that kind of thing.
The Melbourne Boomers are WNBL champions after thrashing the Perth Lynx in Game 3 of the Grand Final series last night. There was drama off the court though, with the trophy going missing on its flight from Perth to Melbourne, but luckily for all it turned up just in time. And a huge round from Aussie golfer Cam Smith at the Augusta Masters, charging into second overall at 6 under par. He's 3 strokes off American leader Scotty Scheffler going into the final day of play. Tiger Woods is well off the pace at +7, ending hopes for a 6th green jacket for the champion on his Augusta return. That's the latest in sport. I'm April Austin. Eat good with rolled. It's fast, fresh, Vietnamese.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now.
If you're on the hunt for some fun these holidays, you're in for a treat at Sexyland. There's 15% off chocolatey body paint and liqueur-flavoured massage oils, and 20% off selected rabbit toys, plus a free gift with any Lilo purchase, and loads more in-store and online. Sexyland, 11 stores in Melbourne and Geelong. Can't wait? Get 2-hour delivery at sexyland.com.au.
Take me now, I'm coming. Take me now, Sexyland.
Sustained performance in footy is more than just one great game. It's about playing consistently, game after game, season after season. Host Plus delivers strong performance over the long term, with top returns over 20 years. A top-performing super fund over the long term, that's a plus. Search, compare Host Plus today.
Super Ratings SR50 Balanced Index, December 2021. General advice only. Consider the relevant Host Plus PDS at TMD at hostplus.com.au before deciding if Host Plus is appropriate for you. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance.
Get the power of safer tyres before you go on holidays. A road safety message from Tyre Power.
Correct tyre inflation is the single most important part of tyre care. It helps keep them in good condition to provide optimum performance and maximum life. The best thing you can do before a long journey is check your tyre pressure and top them up with air if needed. And don't forget to check the spare tyre too.
Get the power of expert advice. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent. Visit tyrepower.com.au for your local owner operator.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
Tim Watson here. Can you remember as a kid painting goals on the side of your dad's shed and shooting for goals day after day? Well, they built them tough back then, just like the sheds from Safety Steel. For prefab, steel kit buildings and custom designed sheds that are tough and durable, search Safety Steel. For your dream shed, search Safety Steel.
Safety Steel, time to get real.
Never before in business history has the combination of hygiene, cleaning and recycling been more important. COVID changed everything and businesses need to trust their cleaning suppliers more than ever. So place your trust in Icon Services Australia, a market leader for commercial cleaning, hygiene and recycling services. Naming rights sponsor of Icon Park, the home of Carlton Football Club and AFLW. For a complete integrated solution for commercial cleaning and more, get Icon Services Australia into your business. iconservices.com.au.
Rockstar Games' blockbuster Grand Theft Auto Online is now available for free on PlayStation 5. Chart your rise from the streets to criminal kingpin in a living online world with stunning new visuals, haptic feedback from the DualSense wireless controller, and more. Migrate your existing GTA Online characters and progress for special bonuses. Get GTA Online on PS5 for free until June 14th via the PlayStation 5 console store. PlayStation Plus required to play.
Designer Appliances are your premium laundry appliance specialists. With all the best brands, we can help create functional spaces, converting your laundry into a practical paradise. Visit us at Camberwell, Heidelberg, Rosebud and Wantirna South, or browse online at designerappliances.com.au.
Want an internet provider with the most satisfied customers? Mate has been rated the best for overall NBN satisfaction by CanStar Blue's annual providers review. In fact, Mate are the only telco to score 5 stars in all areas. That's customer service, value for money, ease of setup, bill and cost clarity, as well as speed and reliability. So, join the most satisfied NBN customers. Choose a provider you can trust, like a Mate. Visit letsbemates.com.au.
My Macca's Rewards has arrived. Get that surprising a mate feeling when you earn points to redeem on snack time favourites, like a McFlurry. Download the My Macca's app and start earning today. Value means more at Macca's. T's and C's apply. See our website for details.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now.
Second half about to get underway. Just the news out of the Bombers camp that Will Snelling has been subbed out. So Devon Smith will be activated as the sub. As far as the Bombers are concerned, we know young Braden Cook is the sub. The young man wearing number 15 for the Crows, whether he plays any part, we'll wait and see as both teams have emerged from the rooms. The last-minute chats from the skippers. It's the Bombers holding sway here, 9-6-60 to Adelaide, 8-4-52. Can the Bombers win for the first time this year on their home deck? There's a fair army of red and black in here under the roof this afternoon. Can the Crows stick with Essendon and maybe record a great victory of their own for this young emerging group under Matthew Nicks? All to play out in the second half. Carlton, of course, up against the Gold Coast a little bit later on. A huge game also for the Gold Coast, Kane, isn't it, to front up after a pretty limp performance against the Giants last week.
Yeah, it was. Some big outs for the Blues as well, which, you would think at home gives them an opportunity, but all focus and attention here is on Essendon. What a big half of footy it is for the context of their season right now.
It certainly is. Ben Rutten not with us, but harder task for him today, not having the exact control that he would like, but still in communication with Blake Carosella and the coaches. Not the first coach to go down, may not be the last. Opening bounce coming up for Tyre Power. Always win with a free 5-minute tyre safety check. And Phillips and O'Brien have had a battle today. Phillips has certainly got his hands on the ball a lot to resume their head-to-head in the middle of the ground. Matt Hill to get us underway.
Phillips and O'Brien, Essendon kicking to the right of your radio dial. At the fall of the ball was Keys for the Adelaide Crows. Sends it to centre half forward for the Crows. Hind in the race for the football for Essendon. Got a hurried handball out. Zirk Thatcher just fumbles a little bit. Looping handball over the top towards Hind. Hind has a bounce. Can almost have a second bounce and then darts one and finds Caldwell on the outer side. He goes, tries to centre it towards Redmond. It was cut off by Murphy, though. Turnover here. Loose football. Murphy tries to slap it along the ground. Gollance at the fall of the ball, and the umpire crosses himself. It'll be a ball up edge of the square, left of your radio dial. Virtually centre half forward for Essendon.
Phillips and O'Brien go at it again. Taken away by Perkins. Young Martin. Good kick to Guelphy. Marks it on the stretch. Bombers edge forward. Now the release kick inside forward 50. It doesn't get over the back to right.
They just weren't on the same page. He thought right was leading up, and just as he's looked down to kick at Guelphy, right went back and led towards the goal square. So just miscommunication.
Butts took the mark for Adelaide. The clearing kick from defensive 50. Phillips the big spoil in the air. Ground level ball. Hind there first. Guelphy the 1-2. Hind tracking the boundary line. He's taken a step over, so the boundary umpire was right on it. First minute and a half on the Makita clock rule the outdoors. And the Bombers with that 8-point halftime lead.
Throw in just forward of centre wing for the Crows outer side. O'Brien taps it down towards Laird. Just got a little short gather to Scholl, who sends it out towards Murphy. But it's too hot for him, and it'll be a throw in true centre wing outside. On the other side of the ground from where we are, as the throw-in takes place right on the logo over there, as it's Phillips taps it down towards McGrath under heavy pressure. Was Murphy in his back? He was. McGrath gets the free kick. So McGrath can just steady the ship here a little for Essendon. Pumps it long towards right half forwards. 2-on-2. Butts should have almost taken that. Just spurts off his chest, and now it's Shield who just blasts it towards the pocket for Essendon. And at the fall of the ball was Jones, and the boundary line beats them. It's in the forward pocket, a throw in. So 8-point game, Essendon lead.
So ball to be tossed in. O'Brien and Phillips. O'Brien got his hands to it. Phillips then got a hand to it as well. He was dragged off the footy by O'Brien. Ball spills out for the Bombers. Martin with the right foot snap for a goal. And they strike first to start the second half. 10-6-66, the Crows. 8-4-52, and that is on the Victoria Police assistance line scoreboard.
Well, they found one, haven't they, in this young man. I don't think he was even in the team book, in the AFL book at the start of the year. The kid from Western Australia kicked 5 on debut and won the Rousing Star in round 1. He's just active. He doesn't need a lot of room, and he's a great ball user. And we've seen that on a couple of occasions already when he's kicked it inside 50 today. But we know he can do this, just in the right spot at the right time and finish nicely. An important goal, because I reckon Adelaide started this third quarter the better and they'd had the run of play. But Essendon from stoppage, really strong there, and a really nice finish from a young player with a bright future.
Didn't even make it into the footy record today.
He did.
Create an extra line.
Laird wrapped up in a tackle in the middle by Shield, holding it. Crowd loved that one. Dylan Shield with the free kick in the centre circles. Offloads quickly. Running for him, Ridley, who blasts it towards the top of the square through the hands of Wright. Duday's got some work here. Has Waterman for company. Came off the boot. Was it out on the full? No, it wasn't. It'll be a throw in, left forward pocket for Essendon.
Yeah, so Martin's up to 14.
Oh, gee, that was off the boot of Duday. Could have been out of bounds on the full there. As it's now Keys clearing possession from the pack towards the outer wing. The front, Himmelberg couldn't take the mark. Walker, handball, tunnel ball in the end to Himmelberg. Got a bit of space, the big fellow, waiting for the cavalry to match them as Rochelle takes the mark outside 50. Got it to Sloan, charges inside 50, sends it on its way and misses to the right. Essendon 10-6-66, Adelaide Crows 8-5-53. We've been going 5 minutes here in the third term thanks to Makita.
Redmond back into play. Down low for Kelly. Back to Redmond. We'll send this Shields way. Just outside defensive 50. Margin 13 points. Bombers lead it. All this action for Tyre Power. Save on Toyo. Massive Easter sale now on. Long ball up the line. Brown head front position and chopping the arms. He'll take a free kick.
Bit hurt. Just getting up a little bit gingery. The ribs or shoulder. He's okay. He'll take his kick.
Draper. Back on for the Bombers. For Snaffle, bite-sized payments win. Long ball inside 50. Ground level ball. Hand. Murphy gets it over the boundary line for the Crows. So we'll go from the boundary throw in. Second half underway. Plenty at stake for both these teams.
The Walker's going to do the ruck work, which he did last year, and he's actually quite crafty and quite nifty and kicked a lot of goals out of the ruck from last year.
Draper up against Walker. No decisive tap. Laverty spun out of the would-be tackle. A little short ball to Shield. Came off the boot of Caldwell. So Shield at half-back. Just a lot of air in that ball. Down to right. Got hands to it. Guelphy trying to get the crumb. Taking the contact was Laird, who went into the tackle. It was the non-officiating umpire at the back who thought he was harshly done by it. Advantage going towards the Crows. And it wasn't really the advantage. Now Rose got to get busy at ground level. Brodie Smith. It's a beautiful kick of the footy. It's always quick through the air, but it was down there. Redmond and Kelly up against young Gallant. They get it through for a rush behind.
Walker screaming at Smith. He had split on the lead and it just needed to be just a little chip 25-metre pass to him on the lead. Smith went long and Essendon had all the numbers. Redmond probably had time to mark it, but played it safe and let off there for Essendon.
Redmond sends it long. Dawson couldn't take the mark in the middle of the pack. Smith, the medical sub that's on the ground now for Essendon, had one arm latched behind him there. They really pile in on top of Smith, and also at the bottom of the pack there is O'Brien, and the umpire will ball it up. Left half forward for the Bombers. Draper tried to tap it down over the top. Crouch, another stoppage. 66 Essendon, Adelaide 54. We've travelled 7 in the third term. Falls down now towards Martin. Hurried hands to Parrish. Sends it towards the edge of the square at centre half forward. Up the ground right. Took a mark. It's a long way down. He did well, the big fellow. Sends it across the ground. Centering kick. Dawson back with the flight. Hind was there. Chance now for Ham. Little kick to McGrath at centre half forward. Didn't go the required distance. Handballs to himself. Now he's in a pickle. Got the handball back to Draper. He was holding it for too long, McGrath. And Adelaide with the free kick. It'll be taken by Sloan.
Yeah, it was a correct decision. He didn't dispose of the ball correctly. As Adelaide are out here through Murphy. Massive let off for Essendon.
Nicely weighted kick. Next ball's to Tex. Laverde got underneath the footy. Walker back on it. Sweeps a handball over the top into the pocket. Himmelberg missed the target of Scholl, but then Keys came in, sold the dummy. Keys kicks the goal for Adelaide. And once again, they just hang around the Crows. Just when you feel maybe the Bombers could get some sort of clearer advantage, Adelaide get a reply somehow. 9-6-60. Essendon 10-6-66 on the Victoria Police assistance line scoreboard.
Yeah, Essendon butchered it up the other end about 30 seconds ago. Peter Wright had the mark outside 50. He had numbers all over the other side of the ground, but he just telegraphed the kick, the switch across the face to the top of the 50. Adelaide were able to force a turnover through the Sloan tackle on McGrath. They just went down, they overlapped, Essendon pressed up, and eventually Adelaide had all the numbers. A nice little shimmy and a fake from Keys, bit of foot candy there, and a good finish because he hasn't used the ball particularly well today. But on that occasion, he made no mistake, and as they've done all game, they hang in there, Adelaide, and they hang in there again.
So Draper and O'Brien to Lockhorns again in the middle. Essendon by a goal in the third quarter. Middle of the ground, just Crouch got a little toe poke to it, only as far as Hine for Essendon, who's going to reload and send it towards centre half forward. No mark taken by Perkins. Fell to Duday for Adelaide. That's a terrific kick. Pinpoint straight down the throat of Keys. Got it towards Schoenberg, who sends it long towards Walker. Himmelberg at the back. Will the boundary line beat the big fellow at will? And it goes over about 30 metres around from the Adelaide goal left of your radio dial. It's Essendon by a goal. We've been almost travelling 10 in the third term.
So the Crows inside 50. And they square the ledger here. All tossed in. Walker just grabbed it out of the ruck. Tex with a flying shot. He's gone well across the face of goal. That one out of bounds on the full.
It's a weapon for them, though, and it's something that Essendon may not have scouted because it's been a long time since he's played and he's come back into the side. He did that so many times last year, so Draper's just got to be better. He's got to be more physical, perhaps start from behind rather than start in front.
As Kelly goes in short to Parrish.
27 coming up.
Hemmed in deep in defence. He's going to come across his defensive goal square and try and open up the other side of the ground, but Walker's going to intercept in front of Hine. Walker in two minds here. He lowers the eyes. He tried to get it over the top to Jimmy Rowe. It's been cut off here by Laverde.
Laverde offloads it quickly to Ridley, who was running for him, and then finds Hind. So Hind at half back. So Hind now called to play on from the umpire. Tries to dodge Walker, and he does. Sends it down the line on the outer side. It's straight down the throat of Sloan. So Sloan plays on quickly. Turnover as the Crows through Keys. Brings it into the middle. Jones dropped what he should have taken. Put himself under pressure. Got the handball to Frampton. Handball. Laird. Jones. Schoenberg. 55 metres out. Top of the square. But kicked it to Ridley as if he was playing on the same team. And Essendon can reload from here as he goes to Durham at half back.
Turnover City right now.
Away to Heppel. Heppel's kick to Waterman. Just behind the wing. A lot ahead of him. He's just got to check the kick. A little shorter. McGrath.
Well, this is okay because all these forwards were out of position. A genuine turnover game to start this third quarter. The first 10 minutes of it's been up and back. Ball use has been really ordinary. So I don't mind this composure from the Bombers. Reset, set up structurally your defence safely, and just take a little bit of heat out of this game.
So just a series of short kicks. Haven't gained any metres. Just keeping possession. Trying to set things up. Crows with the majority of numbers back. We'll get the switch across the ground to open it up, so he's just going to go deep into the pocket. There's a strong mark by Phillips.
Good physicality, wasn't it? And 50.
Well, that is really, really costly for Adelaide.
I'm not sure what it was for. We're all sort of shaking our head in the box. I didn't see any. Well, it certainly wasn't for dissent. Perhaps a player running through the 10-metre protected zone. Whatever it is, it's a massive penalty because you go from having a shot outside 50 tight angle to the top of the goal square. He's going to pop this through.
Phillips point blank range. And that's that little buffer again. 11-6-72 to 9-6-60. Victoria Police, you can use the police assistance line for non-urgent situations. We've gone 10 minutes of this third quarter on the Makita clock. Ruley outdoors.
Let me have a look at the Easy Debit. During Easy Debit Today replay screen and try and work out what this was for. So, great mark, good physicality, contested mark. They've used the two rucks well today. And I'm none the wiser at the moment. Oh, there it is. Chase Jones with a silly decision to run through the mark. He was trying to get to his opponent. Just runs through the middle of the mark. You taught that in under 10s. That's a brain fade.
So is it a costly brain fade? 2 goals the margin. Home side in front. Back in the middle. And it was O'Brien and Draper nullifying each other. Shield couldn't get a boot to it. Either Parrish, hot football at the moment. Crouch nudged off it by Shield. Got a little pass to Parrish. He got it to Guelphy. Guelphy's in a paddock, 40 metres out. And then a hurried kick towards the top of the square, trying to find Phillips. It was too hot for him over his head. And goes over the boundary in the left forward pocket for Essendon. So these crucial moments here for Essendon, for New Farm Australian through and through. They lead by 2 goals. Left forward pocket. Throw in. O'Brien and Phillips. Phillips won the tap. Tried to nudge it to the advantage of Perkins. Durham at the fall of the ball on hands and knees along with Perkins. But a turnover the Crows can clear here through Shoal after good work from Laird, and Rochelli's got it centre wing.
He has, trying to get the Crows forward. It's a 1-on-2 though. Tex needs to hold his ground here. And then the soccer inside 50. It will be to the advantage of Adelaide. They can walk into the open goal. McHenry. They get one back again, Adelaide. 10-6-66. Essendon 11-6-72. Victoria Police assistance line looking after our scoreboard in the third quarter.
You're disappointed if you're Essendon. You're in the Essendon coach's box. The game is in your control. Guelphy is running with no one on him. And he decides to half have a shot, half pass it. And that leads to a throw-in when it should have been a goal. The amount of times that they've nearly scored one at their end and made skill errors or poor decisions almost at the top of the goal square, and then Adelaide have gone straight back down and kicked a goal. We've called that time and time again. So they haven't been able to bury Adelaide. And what you will do, you will give the opposition a sniff. We saw it yesterday with West Coast against Collingwood. You hang in there long enough, they'll get their opportunity. So Essendon haven't been good enough today to put this game beyond doubt when they probably should have by now.
15 minutes gone, third term, thanks to Makita. Phillips had a second opportunity to try and hack it onto the boot. Laird goes wide for Adelaide, running onto the footballers. Ham with pace. Ham very quick indeed. Kicks it towards right half forward. Wanganeen was nudged out of the contest by Brown. Sloan goes in, got the hurried handball away. Caldwell intercepts. Can he get clean purchase on it? He's wrapped up in a tackle for the Bombers. Jones goes in now. He's wrapped up in a tackle and the umpire crossed himself. It was tough footy that time. 40 metres out from Essendon's goal. They lead by a goal.
Love that from Wanganeen. Didn't take the mark, but 3-4 efforts on the ground to lock this ball in.
O'Brien and Draper lock horns again. Laird with a sweeping handball. Crouch now feeds it back to Schomburg, who kicks wide towards the wing, but the Bombers will cut it off.
Good battle, hasn't it? Laverde and Taylor Walker. Walker's had his moments, but Laverde's been pretty good for the most part.
In short to McGrath, sweeps it to Durham. Then the pressure came from McHenry, and they get the turnover the other way, the Crows. Just got to work their way through the traffic. Sloan gets involved. Laird, Crouch will want his left, but he'll elect to go by hand to the voice of Duday at the back, who kicks wide towards half forward. There's a good strong mark by Murphy. Flew high, quick to go, drills one inside forward 50. Rochelli on the end of it with a shot at goal coming up for the Crows.
Well, that's what we're talking about. All the run of play, the Bombers drop an easy mark under no pressure, and Adelaide go back and have another shot. Now, you wouldn't want it in much better hands, which is a compliment to a player who's hardly played much footy at all, Rochelli, but lining up for goal number 3, completely against the run of play again. The Bombers have just let Adelaide have opportunity after opportunity to remain in this game.
Looking for his 10th goal of the season. Past 50 he goes. Look at that right boot. Look at the umpire. Just arched back, Matt. The neck just pivoted back. He says, I like those. And they just go right over my cap. And that was a sweet kick by a young man, Kane, that we're going to get excited about for some time.
Yeah, he's going to kick a lot of goals. There's a bit of Stevie J about him. There's perhaps a little bit of Toby Green. Just watching the behind the goals vision, he's on an experienced opponent in Jake Kelly. He's just on the move, and then when he sniffs it, bang, straight up. Make it easy for the kicker. I always love the forward that would lead at you. It gives you no option but to kick them the ball. And he presents well and he demands the footy. And all of a sudden, you've got a tied ball game.
72 apiece on the fast deck of Marvel. Game on. Huge stakes here this afternoon.
Crucial moments thanks to New Farm, Australian through and through. Draper and Himmelberg in the ruck. Shocking bounce. And there'll be a secondary. One umpire calls it back. So there'll be a throw up this time in the middle of Marvel. Draper and Himmelberg. And they negate each other. No one really took it. And an infringement in the air. Going to go to the Crows and Himmelberg. So Himmelberg in the centre. Sends it inside 50. Plenty of Essendon players. Walker was hovering at the back. Handball to the advantage of Rowe. Intercepting Heppel. Was he taken high? Yeah. What's the call? Yes, free kick Heppel.
Interesting choice from Walker. I just thought he could have turned around on his right foot and snapped a goal. That would have been huge for the Crows. Opted for the $1 million handball over the back of his head. Now that probably just goes to show missing a little bit of touch, albeit he's been pretty solid today.
Zirk Thatcher to Ridley in the back pocket for the Bombers. So Ridley just settles the ship for the time being. Going to send it long. Virtually 3-on-3 in the near side wing. Waterman's there. Draper at the back through his hands. Fell to Duday, who walks it over the line. Was it deliberately? Well, it was, but he hit it okay. The umpire has nothing to say about that. Centre wing throw in near side.
Plus 14 those hit-outs for the Bombers, so they're going to get their hands on the ball. Draper, a little palm down, little deft touch. Sloan putting himself in the mix, trying to wrench that footy at Dawson. Cordwell trying to break through. He can't control the footy. Spills to Hinge. That's a good ball to Walker. Presents 55 from home. He can kick this Tex. He can get it over the back. The Crows are in front. They led it by one straight kick. He's kicked his third. 12-6-78 to 11-6-72. Goal of the game contender for Host Plus. That's a plus.
He looked threatening all game. So it's stoppage. Bombers had their hands on the footy 2 or 3 times. They got it to a teammate, but Adelaide's pressure was outstanding. So Adelaide had it. Then Caldwell had it. Great tackle from Laird. Spilled to Hinge, who hit up Walker. That's what I'm saying. Those forwards that hit up at the ball carrier, they make it so easy. Laverde lost his footing, and that's a chip chop. I mean, that's a chip in with a pitching wedge from Taylor Walker from 50, if you don't mind. So Essendon have no one to blame but themselves for leaving the door ajar for Adelaide, and now they're trailing by a goal.
Yeah, the Crows by a goal. Back in the middle. Phillips wins the tap narrowly that time. Keys at the fall of the ball, taken high by Caldwell, gets the free kick. Crowd didn't like it, but it was certainly there. As Keys swings around, goes short, and finds Laird. Laird, virtually centre wing. Has Brown running for him. Off the boot, smothered. Good work from Gelthy, and then he was able to regather the football to Caldwell, and then right up the ground in the centre square. This is promising for Essendon as Waterman takes the mark 53 metres out. There's no one home. Is he going to force himself into a corner here and go back and kick it?
He just didn't have confidence. So Draper had the one-on-one with Frampton in the goal square. One-on-one, but Draper didn't have the craft to give himself some split on the lead, and Waterman didn't have confidence in kicking it to him. So this will take his absolute best.
He's kicked 2 today, Waterman, kicking to the right of your radio dial, 53 metres out, sends it towards the square. They fly. No mark taken from right in the middle. Guelphy off the ground. Goes through for a behind. So it's the Crows 12-6-78, Essendon 11-7-73, a 5-point ball game, 22 minutes gone, thanks to Makita.
So Duday to put it back into play. We'll adjudicate our player of the day later on for Whirlpool Kitchen and Laundry Appliances. I mean, Parrish has had the most 28, but as you've said, Kane, maybe he's not his most influential 28. So lots of contributors across the ground Free kick in the air will go Zerk Thatcher's way.
Safety still shed stats. Free kicks 20-15 Adelaide's way.
Zerk Thatcher inside 50. Here comes Draper. All out the back to right. Waterman swoops on the footy. Does a 360 turn from a tight angle and just scrapes in from behind. Doesn't get the full smile from David Roden adjudicating that one. At his end, score check for Victoria Police Assistance Line. 78 plays 74. Crows by 4 points.
So Duday leaves the square and sends it long. A lot of Essendon here as Redmond takes the mark. Then a chip towards centre half forward over the head of Martin. Hine picked it up, wrapped up in a tackle. Did well, McHenry. He stole the ball. And now Murphy for Adelaide. Kick over the top. Rochelle. He's got a bit of space here. He can have a bounce. He runs wide, kicks it inside 50 and all over it was Zerk Thatcher for the Bombers at half-back and takes the mark. They turn it over.
He'll just chip it over the top to Ridley. Squared that ball 60 out from his defensive goal. He'll just chip it over the top as well. So Essendon just slow it down for a moment to Hine. So almost inside the last 5 minutes, heading to three-quarter time. As Hind will send his right boot long up the line right, then it was Draper at the back who took the mark. Little give to Parrish, away to Peter Wright, who sends it long inside 50. Head ball, he got up, he couldn't quite pluck the mark. Dawson trying to stand up in defence. Now McHenry. Now the Crows through Laird, can build again. Rochelle, he's got a man over the top in Tex. They can just sit for him. Zerk Thatcher trying to apply the pressure. Releases the handball to Keys on his preferred left side. Tiny angle, he can't bring it back. Clobbers into that left point post.
It's just coming out a bit easy for the Bombers forward line. Heppel had hands on that, couldn't mark it, and then the exit from Adelaide. So McHenry's ground ball and his ability to dart through traffic. Then Adelaide just moved the ball so quickly. Rochelle won another one-on-one. Got it over to Walker, who found Keys hard running, couldn't finish, but Bombers' pressure has really dropped off in their front half.
Kick to the near side wing at the fall of the ball. The Heppel handball Parrish, handball McGrath, handball Caldwell. They work it well, kicking it to right half forward. Shield from the side couldn't take the mark. Hinge palmed it back towards Frampton it was, and then it's Sloan. The 1-2 from Brown, and then Sloan kicks it out wide. It is Farage Hine who takes the mark. 55 metres out, sends it inside 50, and Perkins has taken it. Archie Perkins, who has one goal next to his name for the Bombers so far, can go back from 45 metres out, similar angle. This to put them in front. 25 and a half minutes gone, third term for Makita.
Yeah, I was about to say I was going to exit really easily again after the Bombers went in. Now they went to Dylan Shield, who's not the ideal target when he's playing forward, but Hine was brilliant. He just cut off the Sloan exit ball with his speed and found Perkins. This is a really big kick in the context of the game.
Big kick for a young man. 26 minutes gone in the third term. Perkins from 47 metres out, and he's missed it to the right.
Hit this quarter. Had some chances.
And Hinge pulled up lane here at half-back. He's on the hamstring. He's come off the ground. So he's gone up the race here for Adelaide. So keep an eye on that. Frampton puts it back into play. Draper. Fair piece of it. We'll take with the jumper. It's going to be a free kick. Will come back to Redmond, who's in that sea of players. And Redmond runs on that right arc. High ball inside 50. Down towards right. Phillips. Right went to ground. Duday close to the boundary line. Little give to Shoal. Measures one to Rochelle. Crows led it by 3 points. We've got just inside 3 minutes to three-quarter time. Makita clock rule the outdoors. Rochelle with plenty of air in that kick, trying to get it towards Walker. Ridley had a bit of it. Ground level ball for Caldwell. McGrath, Parrish trying to get it to Hine. Rowe trying to stand his ground. It was Hine charging with a bit of momentum. Keeps the game the Bombers' way, but they're trying to feed a handball through. Crows with the pressure. Crouch. Big ball to be won here. Just forward of centre for Essendon. Can they get it out? Perkins. Guelphy from 45. It'll bring the house down. Bombers back in front. They just were able to squeeze it out of the traffic. 12-9-81, 12-6-78 the Crows for Victoria Police assistance line.
Big moment, scramble ball, middle of the ground. Essendon were good enough to have it. Then they coughed up a few handballs. Look, this is nothing pretty about this. Nothing pretty at all. Eventually it was Caldwell who put his head over it, won a hard ball, got it into the path of Guelphy. And moments ago earlier on in this first quarter, he thought about having a shot and he thought about passing. He didn't either, and he squandered an opportunity. I love the fact that he learned from that. As soon as he picked it up, heading inside 50, he buried the head down, and his only decision was having a shot for goal. And he made the most of that. Yeah, he's been pretty good, apart from a couple of skill errors, but that was a big moment for the Bombers in the game.
Essendon by 3, back in the middle. Draper with a possession, hurried handball. McGrath sends it very, very long. Phillips at the front, couldn't quite take the mark. It spills to Smith. Smith round the body. The medical sub misses to the left. So they've just got the run of it at the moment. 12-10-82 Essendon, 12-6-78 Adelaide, 28 and a half gone thanks to Makita as the Crows play on quickly, and it's over the boundary line, around 52 metres around from the Essendon goal.
Well, the Bombers Army in full voice here. They want to win however it comes to get their season going. The Crows are standing resolute as the opposition here this afternoon. O'Brien, Draper, little kick, Devon Smith, not the required journey. Brown right there with the pressure. Caldwell down low. Guelphy trying to get it to Smith. Rochelle puts himself in the path and he runs into Redmond one side, Smith on the other. Trying to wrench the footy out, both teams. In the tight little phone box they're working at the moment, and then some contact.
Battle, isn't it? I mean, it's toughest team wins now, so they've been good enough to win the last 2 scrambled balls. I reckon Caldwell's been really important in that as well. He's come of age with his contested work today.
So Draper is just going to pump it long, deep to the top of the square, right. Ground level ball, Duday took on the tackler. A free kick. It's going to come back. Just trying to check it in the easy debit replay, but it'll be Duday's ball maybe in the back pocket. And what do we got? Just under a minute now.
Sends it long, Draper.
They've locked it in the back of the pack. The Bombers have locked it in their forward half, which will continue to put Adelaide's defence under pressure.
Zirk Thatcher sends it long. No mark taken, Wanganeen. Smith at the fall of the ball, finds Martin. Martin round the body. Spinning. Round the stick it goes. Essendon 12-11-83, Adelaide 12-6-78, 5-point ball game now, 30 and a half gone third term for Makita rule the outdoors. They've had all the play, the Bombers.
Yeah, they have, and they've been able to lock it in their forward 50 and get repeat entries and repeat opportunities. You're not going to get many better than that, and he's good enough, Martin, to finish there. He just didn't get it to curl enough.
So Duday from deep in defence. O'Brien competed in the air. Murphy on the ground. He's ridden into the deck here, and we get a stoppage. 22 seconds and counting to three-quarter time. Crows don't want to concede a late one here. Draper. Stole away by Crouch. Sloan. Murphy back to Sloan, who just hacks the ball forward. Heppel stood his ground. Devon Smith activated as the sub. Martin, he's hard to pin in the tackle. Sweeps a handball into the middle of Marvel Stadium. Trying to handball on the up there was Guelphy. Last chance for the Crows. Shoals. Siren will beat them. What a last quarter we've got coming up here at Marvel Stadium. The Bombers 12-11-83 leading the Crows 12-6-78. We'll take a breath here. Let the coaches go to work and we'll come back with a big final quarter on AFL Nation.
That quarter on AFL Nation was for Mate Internet and Mobile, Australia's most satisfied NBN customers. Internet from $59.
When making the double chicken deluxe at Macca's, we wanted to improve on the perfect combo of tender Aussie chicken with cheese, tomato and aioli. So, we doubled it. Chicken and Macca's, together and loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Available after 10:30am for a limited time only.
When you're running a business, you're always working hard. Sure, you've got a team to help carry the load, but the buck stops with you. Makes sense then that you should use a payment solution that helps make getting paid easier. Easy Debit is the all-in-one payment solution. Whether it's direct debit for recurring or subscription payments, BPay for invoicing, FPOS, phone or online payments. When it comes to dollars, it just makes sense. Easy Debit. Payments done in one. Search EZI Debit today.
SLB Fight Night presents Michael Zarafa versus Isaac Hardman. Battle it out April 20 at Melbourne Convention Exhibition Centre. Get your tickets at zarafatickets.com.au or live stream at zarafafite.tv. Get your tickets at zarafatickets.com.au.
From first-time browsing to big-time arousing, Sexyland is all about fun. We have Australia's biggest range of sexy costumes, couples' toys, fun gifts and games for adults. And our team of fun specialists are always here to help in-store and online. Sexyland 11 stores open 7 days until midnight in Melbourne and Geelong, or shop online and get 2-hour delivery.
Take me now, I'm coming. Take me now, Sexyland.
Major building projects for the trade or a DIY home reno. Robot Building Supplies is the Australian-owned family-run business you can trust.
Robot's got it.
Robot's product range is vast and world-class. And when it comes to product knowledge,
Robot's got it.
Next-day delivery in Metro Melbourne.
Robot's got it.
Over 70 years experience and reliability helping Melburnians. Robot Building Supplies. Notting Hill, Sunshine, Preston, Dramana, Pakenham, Coldstream and Darnham. robotbuildingsupplies.com.au.
ROBOT, Robot Building Supplies.
Get the power of safer tyres before you go on holidays. A road safety message from Tyre Power.
Having out-of-balance tyres causes uneven tread wear and an uncomfortable ride. You'll also cop excess wear on your suspension and other parts of your vehicle. If you experience severe vibration while driving, especially highway speeds, get your tyres dynamically balanced at your local Tyre Power store straight away.
Get the power of expert advice. Get the power of Australia's biggest independent. Tyre Power.
Let's cross to Daisy Pearce down on the boundary line.
Hi guys, things are about to get underway down here. As we know, there's a lot of pressure on every player at Harvest, with loads of contractors joining the team. They really need to get off to a positive start with good quality inductions and plenty of communication. They'll need regular breaks to minimise fatigue, and if they do those basics well, they should have a fantastic season.
Thanks, Daisy. Remember, always take 5, freshen up and get back in the zone. Visit makingourfarmsafer.org.au.
Troy?
Yep.
I see you've set a brainstorm session for 11.
Yep.
And the location is in your Hyundai i30?
That's it.
You realise the big room is...
I prefer my i30. The remarkable i30 is packed with advanced safety and intuitive tech. And from just $27,990 drive away with auto, now's a smart time to buy. T's and C's apply. Visit Hyundai.com.au/offers for details. Imagine that. Hyundai.
Looking to buy Bitcoin? Join over 200,000 Australians on Independent Reserve, Australia's trusted crypto exchange since 2013. With Independent Reserve, it's fast, easy and secure to buy crypto. You can even buy and sell crypto on the go with our iPhone and Android app. Get lower fees on all your trades at independentreserve.com.
You're listening to the 2022 Premiership season on AFL Nation for Beaumont Tiles. For all your tiling needs, in stock now.
Ground here, and then the soccer inside 50. It will be to the advantage of Adelaide. They can walk into the open goal. McHenry, they get one back again, Adelaide. Crouch, big ball to be won here. Just forward of centre for Essendon. Can they get it out? Perkins. Guelphy from 45. It'll bring the house down. Bombers back in front.
AFL Nation highlights for McDonald's. Footy's back and I'm loving it. Never miss a single goal with McDelivery.
Three-quarter time, the Bombers narrowly here, 12-11-83. Adelaide 12-6-78. Kane, let's get your thoughts as both teams are about to emerge from the huddles. What a last quarter of it.
Yeah, well, game on. Absolutely game on. You feel like Essendon have had the better of it, or certainly more opportunities, but sort of like what we identified prior to the game, that Adelaide play an annoying style of game where, you know, that they don't look the better side on the day, and I don't think they've looked the better side today, but they do enough to hang in there, and they've punished Essendon on the mistakes. So Essendon have made some costly errors when they've had the run of play, and they just have never been able to get momentum fully on their side. They've had a few moments where you thought this is going to absolutely burst open, but Adelaide got good character, and they hang in there. BP, I'll be interested to see the ruck battle here. So O'Brien has hardly had a spell, and if Essendon have been strong in any area today, it's been around the hit-outs and the stoppages. So Draper will go for 8 minutes here, Phillips will come on, and O'Brien's going to have to play the quarter of his life to keep up.
No doubt. Lap 9 of 58 in the Formula One Grand Prix. Leclerc and his Ferrari ahead of Verstappen and Hamilton, and Carlos Sainz and his Ferrari out of the Grand Prix. Opening bounce for Tyre Power, always win with the free 5-minute tyre safety check.
O'Brien down to Crouch, wrapped up in a tackle by Perkins, and holding it.
Good show of confidence for young Archie Perkins to start on ball in this crucial last quarter.
Perkins to Hind, who's charging through the middle of the ground, and then a skew-if kick towards the pocket. Waterman at the front couldn't quite take the mark. Crows under pressure here. Phillips tried to get a little toe poke to it, and in the end he gave away a free kick. He was all over Butts, who gets the free kick.
Very clumsy.
So Butts deep in defence. Hemmed in the back pocket. And he releases it to the far side. Walker and Laverty. Ball spilled at the back to Redmond. A lot of air in that footy, and that will go over the boundary line out of bounds on the full. So the Crows once again to try and build something from deep in defence. It's final quarter, all thanks to Tyre Power. Save on Toyo Massive Easter sale now on a McDonald's Macca's Chicken Deluxe range. Together and loving it, you can order via McDelivery.
So the Crows out of defence to centre wing, and Redmond takes a good strong mark over there.
They've been good at this, like being able to lock the ball in, repeat entries, and that does put a lot of pressure on Adelaide's defence, because you don't get a break and you don't get time to set up, and eventually it breaks open. Adelaide activated their medical sub as well. Cook is on the ground. I'm shooting for Hinge.
Laverty inside 50, and Wright takes the mark. 45-degree angle, he'll kick just inside the chalk.
So hardly sided in the third quarter after playing a really good first half of footy where he kicked 3 goals and had 3 contested marks, 6 disposals, and then drifted out of it. So this will be his challenge, is how can he stay involved. That was his 4th contested mark. It's his opportunity to be the absolute match winner here today for the Bombers.
Important player for them in the final term, right on the 50-metre arc. Peter Wright looking for his 4th goal, and he misses to the left. Essendon 12-12-84. They now lead by a goal. Adelaide 12-6-78. We've gone 2 minutes thanks to Icon Services. Solutions that matter.
Just around the grounds, Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. Just underway, of course, at the MCG between Hawthorn and St Kilda. We're about 10 laps into the Australian Formula One Grand Prix. We'll keep you across that as well. Off hands to Keys. They've got it to the wing, Adelaide, pretty quickly. It's a one-on-one further afield. The Himmelberg and Zirk Thatcher eludes both of those out of bounds, but Adelaide quickly have got it to half forward. They'll make something of this. Bombers by a kick. 2.5 minutes travelled, Nikita clock. In this last quarter, as Draper and O'Brien engage again. The quick hands of Laird across to Murphy. Towards the goal square he goes, winning the strength battle. That time was Kelly up against young Gallant. And Kelly to start the build from defence for the Bombers, Matty, but it might turn over.
Yeah, Ridley off his shoelaces finds himself in a situation here. They stack on over the top of him. He's hatching over the top of it. Rochelle got a hurried handball out. Parrish on the scene. Hurried handball to McGrath, who's got a little bit of time and space to have a bounce, and then kicks it towards centre wing. Swarm of players through the hands of Phillips. Ball ricochets. Chance now for the Bombers. Going for a bounce. Smith kicks it inside 50 to an open space. The foot race is on. Jones at the fall of the ball now for the Crows to Dawson. Strikes a tackle. Jones throws the ball onto the boot. Was it out of bounds on the full? No. It'll be thrown in over there. Around 49 metres around from the Essendon goal.
Some of the decisions they've made going forward, Devon Smith just had to put it in space to the top of the goal square. He's gone for a bounce and then a left foot snap. Just did not sum up the situation. It was frustrating performance today from Essendon. It's been a could-have-been performance.
Ball thrown back into play. Phillips over the top of O'Brien. Palms back boundary side. Smith trying to keep it alive. He handballs inside Brown. Keys pushed off the footy, marked to Durham.
Never works, does it, BP? Like, you're almost better to get tackled and try and sort of squirt it to the boundary line. That hat kick out of defence under pressure. That time, I know, you set up, so you didn't have a lot of options. You've got to give it as much height as you can to try and get an opportunity for a teammate to come in. But this young man's been impressive. Hasn't been as prolific in the second half as he was in the first, but still can have a big say in the game.
Sam Durham, 51 from home. That right boot, well out to the right-hand side, just scrapes in for a behind. And that is on the Icon Services scoreboard. Solutions that matter, 12-13-85, 12-6-78. Dylan Moore with the first goal of the game at the MCG. Hawthorn won straight. St Kilda yet to score for Chemist Warehouse.
Dawson to Brown, and then Dawson kept running, kicks it inside the centre square, and McGrath was all over it for the Bombers, so they turn it over. Back inside 50 again, too hot for right. The fall of the ball, Dawson just scooped it towards over on the far side, Crouch, and then Crouch to Murphy. Murphy with some time onto the left boots and finds Walker. True centre wing on his chest, gets onto it quickly. Keys, running Dawson. Dawson, outside 50, towards the top of the square. McHenry has Kelly to beat, and the ball just trickles over the line. The right forward pocket.
Laird was running shotgun, and he's gone, how about a handball? I would have run in to 30 and kicked it from straight in front. So, poor decision, Adelaide. A lot of teams, both teams making errors now.
Phillips and Walker. Phillips used the body, got it to Guelphy. And now Martin just throws it onto the boot. High wobbly ball to centre wing. Frampton taken out of it. Running onto it, Brown. Handball quickly through Keys, and now Brown sends it back towards right half forwards. No mark taken from Crouch. Zirk Thatcher. Quick one to McGrath as Essendon now have the football through Parrish through half back.
Spreads it wide. Durham territories in a foot race with Scholl.
Behind.
The young man controls the footy, steps inside. Composure. He's been tackled from behind. Just enough pressure there from Scholl, but the ball spilled out to Redmond, who dashes away. High ball towards the 50. Front position for Chase Jones, who takes the mark for Adelaide. Another goal to Dylan Moore, 2 in a minute at the MCG. Hawks 2 straight. St Kilda yet to score around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse.
Fatigue setting in. This is going to be a real test at early stages last quarter. Lots of play out in this game. A lot of players from both sides starting to cramp and look really fatigued.
Just a missed kick-off half-back for Adelaide. That allows Zirk Thatcher in. And he runs into O'Brien. Over the boundary line we go. Lap 14 Australian Formula 1 Grand Prix. So Leclerc and his Ferrari leading Max Verstappen. Perez up to third. Lewis Hamilton fourth.
Around the grounds, Gresham's just kicked an absolute ripper. Chemist Warehouse, great savings every day. That first goal for the Saints, they trail by a goal.
Parrish got it back towards O'Brien. Real hot football here, centre wing. Crouch with the handball out of the pack. McHenry, here they go. Laird for the Crows. Darts one inside 50. And the mark taken by Himmelberg.
Just keeps running, Roy Laird. Just keeps running. It's been one of the good moves from Matthew Nicks to put him from half-back. He's an All-Australian half-back. He's a best and fairest winner, but he's been a prolific midfielder for the last 2 or 3 seasons and getting big numbers again this year and again today up to 29. Just makes good decisions at the right time.
So Himmelberg looking for his second goal, 45 metres out. This to get within a point. Right of your radio dial. It's a beautiful kick. It's not deviating one bit. A goal to Elliot Himmelberg, and it's a 1-point game. 8 minutes gone in this 4th term, AFL Nation. It is Essendon 12-13-85, and they lead by a point.
Yeah, scramble ball. Crouch was there, got the handball out, then they were away. I mean, Laird ran really hard to get on the end of that, and not much you can do about that if you're our man Zirk Thatcher, who was just led up to the ball from Himmelberg, and really good finish from Himmelberg. He's now got a couple. It's an important one. And Adelaide do what they've done all day against the run of play in this last quarter. Inside 50, 6-2. 6-2. But Essendon have got nothing going, and Adelaide on counter have been really good today.
Well, tough to call this one right now. This is looking like it's going to go to the wire. O'Brien the tap. Sloan at the foot of the footy. Keys straightens up on the left. gets a kick with a fair bit of purchase inside 50. Kelly didn't take it cleanly. Rochelli's in. He only needs half an opportunity, this young man. That one floats across the face. It pitches inside the boundary line. And Ridley will gather. And that was not his best at all. That left foot out of bounds on the full. And a chance for the Crows to go deep inside through Dawson. Himmelberg deep. Now Himmelberg comes at him with the lead. And there's the fist in from Zerk Thatcher. Ground level ball to be won. Durham attacked it hard. Can it spill out the back for Essendon? It does. Parrish. Smith just checked his kick to Wanganeen.
Wanganeen, true centre wing near side onto the left line. Shield with plenty of time. So Shield looking for options. Inside 50 he goes looking for Waterman. But intercepting well was Frampton, punched over the boundary line. Crowd here at Marvel, 24,906. It's Essendon 12-13.85, Crows 13-6.84. We've been travelling 10 minutes thanks to Makita Rule the outdoors. Throw in right on the 50-metre arc. And it is Phillips winning it down towards Parrish, 30 metres out from goal. Just tries to enterprise a kick, got one away. Smith at the fall of the ball. Then O'Brien just arching the back, tried to pick it up. Phillips on hands and knees. Handball to Parrish, boundary line close, and it beats them. Tapped over the boundary line, left forward pocket for the Bombers.
No spare behind the ball, so I thought Essendon may drop off with Ridley on row, which he's looking like he might do now, but genuine one-on-ones forward of the ball.
Ball tossed in, Phillips front position, trying to flick it over the back with a bit of space. Brown taken immediately by Durham in the tackle, arms were pinned, and umpire darts in and throw this one up. 85-84, 10 and a half minutes gone to the final quarter, the early kick-off on a Sunday.
So that hat kick out just doesn't work. The defenders usually have best position, and on that occasion Heppel takes the intercept, mate.
There's away to Martin, who's 60 from home.
A lot of numbers for the ball. Every Adelaide player in front of his kick.
Martin very, very wide into the pocket here.
What about that?
Well, pitch just inside the boundary line, so they get a boundary throw in. The Bombers deep.
So just a little bit of tension across the ground, a little bit of a lull through the crowd here. It's Essendon by a point. Left forward pocket throw in for the Bombers. Phillips tried to tap it down. It only falls to Laird for Adelaide, who just hacks it into the air. Would bring rain if the roof was open. Heppel at the fall of the ball, juggling, couldn't mark it. Himmelberg, handball to Schoenberg. Schoenberg trying to barge his way through the pack. It didn't really work. Ball spills free. Now on the ground, Cook for Adelaide. Sends it towards the top of the, or edge of the square at right half forward. Rowe overruns it. Ridley for Essendon now. Handball into the middle. Martin back to Ridley. Flying through was Hind. Hind running 60 metres out towards the pockets. At the back, Smith takes the mark, runs in, open goal, and kicked it for the Bombers, and they lead by 7. Just what they needed, the home side. For Icon Services, solutions that matter. Essendon 13-13-91, Adelaide 13-6-84.
Well, they won a big ball at half-back, so Adelaide won the scramble ball in front of us. I thought it could have gone Heppel's way, and certainly Schomburg tried to break a tackle, was tackled. The umpire let that play. Scramble ball came. It was an ugly ball. Ridley was terrific in the air, and then his ability to follow up. He won the ground ball, handballed it off to Martin, got involved, and then Hind got involved. His run and carry was important. Identified the one-on-one. Smith versus Brown, and Smith is strong in that aerial battle as the medical staff starting to have an influence. That was a big goal, and now the crowd roars.
Bombers fans want nothing more than to walk away with a W in the column today. However it gets done. O'Brien and Draper engage again. Caldwell. Now Schomburg feeds it back to O'Brien. The kick inside forward 50 for Adelaide. Zerk Thatcher with the spoil. Ground level ball for Keys. Sweeps it over the top. Rowe trying to get clear. Rochelli trying to run onto it. Can he make something? Young Cook. Oh, it just eluded the sub. Essendon get it through for a rush behind.
Yeah, I don't have the safety still shed stats on me in terms of how many times Essendon have kicked multiple goals in a row, but it doesn't feel like a lot. Like sitting in the box, it feels like they'll get one, then Adelaide will get one. So be a great time for them to put 2 or 3 in a row on the board and really finish this game off, because they just haven't done that well today.
Essendon by a goal, 14 minutes gone, final term. At the flank it is. So Cook, hurried handball, Wanganeen for Essendon. Free kick though, and it's going to go to Adelaide. The crowd's going to hate this. Little scuffle here with the Cook picking himself up off the ground.
They were gone. The Don tackle just lingered, and Eleni Gloucester paid it because Wanganeen was away.
So Cook sends it long for the Crows towards the square. Swag of players here, fist at the back. Schoenberg on the angle. Almost made something out of nothing. You can hear the boos. It's Essendon 13-13-90. Won a 5-point game. Adelaide 13-8-86. 14 and a half gone. Don't forget, around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Great savings every day. Gold Coast and Carlton coming up straight after the final siren here on AFL Nation.
It has to advantage. Sorry, BP, we've been speaking about it all day, but just flashed up on my screen for safety still shed stats 15-5. So Phillips and Draper have been very effective in the ruck duels today.
Hine to Laverty. Long kick towards the wing. Right territory. Now the ground level ball. Frampton. Walker. Good handball inside. Just got to sit up for Crouch. They're queuing up at half forward row. Now the release kick down towards Himmelberg. Zirk Thatcher came across to support Laverty in the air. Ground level ball. Rochelli on the tight angle.
He's had 2 shots in this quarter. Sorry, I'll let you read out the score, BP.
He's just always dangerous and involved. 4-point lead to the Bombers.
He's had 2 chances in this last quarter, and he has rushed both of them. He just had a little bit more time than what he knew he did.
Smith at half-back for Essendon. Centering kick to Hind, who's been good. Goes wide to Ham. Ham with plenty of space, centre wing on the logo. Bombers fans, they can see some options, but can Ham sends it out even wider looking for Perkins, but the spoil from Jones, and at right half forward for the Bombers, it'll be a throw in.
Didn't have a right foot, had to wheel and go on his right foot because he had teammates and Perkins all on his own. He delayed it because he wanted his left, and that allowed Brown to come across with a really effective spoil.
Essendon by 4, 16 minutes gone, final term. Draper works his way to the front. Was Shield being held? There's a whistle.
No one knows.
Free kick Essendon. Eleni kept us waiting, but it's a free kick Essendon. Draper.
Not a great sign if the players don't know who the free kick is going to.
So Draper, if he's to have a shot at goal, he'd be about 55 metres out. He's just going to pump it long. Sits it up towards the top of the square. Right over his head. Out the back. Cook for Adelaide. Just held his head well and then kicks it outside 50.
He's coming back. He got a free kick as he was kicking it. I reckon it was Devin Smith who just got him high.
So Cook can just steady here for the Crows. It's the Bombers by 4. 17 minutes gone. 4th term. It's getting tense for the Bombers supporters.
There's Cook now. Sends it into the back pocket to Duday. A little short ball to Jones. Possession with Adelaide. Deep in defence as they try and get some run. Duday avoiding the would-be tackle. Away to Dawson on the left. Beautiful low spearing ball through the air. Himmelberg, and he hit the target. It's going to fall shallow though. Not to the advantage.
Because Dawson's kick just broke everything open, and they had Walker on the top of 50. That's a squandered opportunity. The kick from Himmelberg was just a really poor option.
Cut off by Kelly, distributed it to Ham, and he went short to Heppel. They're just outside defensive 50 here, the Bombers. Clinging to a 4-point lead. Saints 3 straight 18. Hawthorn 2-2-14 MCG around the grounds for Chemist Warehouse. Bombers wanting a hold on Guelphy. The fans, umpire said play on. Guelphy, Smith, they cut through. Perkins can go over the top to an open goal. Archie! No doubt about it. Bombers get out by 10. 14-13, 97. The Crows 13-9-87.
Great call, BP. It was a big moment in the game, and the Bombers fans were right. It was actually Riley O'Brien who had a fistful of Guelphy's jumper, but the umpire was blindsided. See it there on the easy debit replay, isn't it? Yes, it is. Joint easy debit today. Don't forget about that. And then they were away, so they were good enough to bring it to ground, win the ground ball. Smith's been really important. He got the goal assist there to Perkins. A couple of times their players have just put their head down, run to 50. We saw Caldwell do it in the second quarter. We've seen Guelphy do it, and now we've seen Archie Perkins do it. And now they've got to go on with it. You know, they've let Adelaide back in at times. A sign of a good side here is, can they finish this game off strongly?
Phillips won the tap that time. Crouch trying to clear the possessions here. Got it down towards Redmond. And now it's Cook with the hurried handball. Adelaide trying to work themselves out of a situation. Murphy, Cook, inside 50. They go. Opportunity for Himmelberg, who's hovering. McHenry at the fall of the ball. Zirk Thatcher over the top. Rowe tried to get it out. Intercepted by Heppel. Caldwell, hurried handball out. Phillips taken high. That's some doing. He's a big man. Gets the free kick.
That was good defence from the Bombers, because, at times today, I feel like a broken record a little bit, that they would have given goals up like that, but I thought Heppel was really important. Phillips to stand up and take almost a hospital handball and win himself a free kick now. Now they can just play a bit more method, a bit more slow and controlled, which they're doing here. It doesn't all have to be fast for the Bombers. So let's see, with the maturity, can they wind down the last 10 minutes of this game with a bit of control?
So just a chain of short passes there. Laverty and now Zirk Thatcher. Near side wing, kicks it long. Guelphy working his way into it. Smith at the fall of the ball, hovering around the body he goes. No mark. Wanganeen had Brown all over the top of him. Is it a free kick? No, nothing doing. Ball skied centre wing, and it's right up against the boundary line. That ball going nowhere, and it'll be thrown in. It is a 10-point game. Essendon lead.
Ball to be thrown back into play. Just under 7 minutes in this match. O'Brien, Phillips. Sharked by Laird. Tumbles one to Walker. He was trying to get away. He didn't have footy in hand. Laird then swoops on that ground level ball. He works one inside forward 50. It pitches right. They gain some valuable metres up the ground inside 50. The Crows, can they take advantage of this boundary throw in? Trailing it by 10 points.
6 minutes on the Makita clock, rule the outdoors. Big 6 minutes in the context of Ben Ratton, Blake Caracella and the Essendon players' seasons.
We're under the roof here at the MCG, bathed in sunshine. Hawks led it by 3 in the opening quarter. We'll keep an eye on that match as well. Gold Coast Carlton to come. Martin broke from the stoppage for Essendon. Draper, Frampton with the spoil. Ground level ball, Dawson, nice give by hand. Now Frampton, who took it from Brown, just hoiks one to the wing, but it's all Bombers. Durham sits underneath it to repel.
So Durham goes short, inboard Ridley. Just wandering back to his defensive 50-metre arc. Ridley kicks it to the near side wing. Guelphy's there for the Bombers. They've given away a free kick here. Wright was at the back. He's given one over the shoulder to Butts, who gets the free kick. So Butts for the Crows. What can the Crows find here? 10 behind, 22 minutes gone for Icon. Kicks it long. Right on the 50-metre arc. No mark, Zirk Thatcher. Fell to McGrath. Handball, Guelphy. Scrubbly little kick for Parrish. But intercepting Dawson for the Crows. Walker at the front. Takes a juggling mark. Big, strong Tex. Dodging, weaving, 53 metres out. Centering kick to the top of the square. Plenty of place. Falls out the back. Gollett, was he being held? Tries to handball it back to Murphy. Murphy in the telephone box, dodging, weaving. Did he dispose of it legally? Yes, he did, and it goes over the boundary line. Right forward pocket for the Crows. 23 minutes gone almost. It's Essendon 14-13-97. Adelaide 13-9-87 for Icon. Solutions that matter, and the Crows looking for solutions now.
They are. This is where it's got to happen for Adelaide. Clock ticking. They trail it by 10. Walker couldn't get a really effective fist on it. Laird at the drop of the footy. Crouch trying to keep the ball above his head. Laird back to Cook, who's having some influence, the sub. Real high up and under. Himmelberg competed. Ground level ball for Walker. The class of the former skipper. And he's kicked his fourth, and that silences the Bombers' army from euphoria, because once again Adelaide are just right in this contest. 4-point margin.
Yeah, he's been the one. He's just, I don't know, the ball just has fallen to him a couple of times. The first one, he kicked one off his shin from a bit of a dribble. The ball just sort of fell to him. Now he's involved in a really high ball. Everyone was up, and then he just got to the front of the pack. He's just in a good spot. And because he's so efficient on both right or left leg, and we saw that last year, just finished off 2 steps. So he's the one. He's the match winner. Put your best defender on him. Ridley's gone down there. Walker's gone to the goal square. Game on here. What a massive 5 minutes. Essendon lead by 4 points. Terrific game of football. And the Crows hang around again.
So Walker with his 4th goal. Essendon by 4. 24 minutes gone, final term. Draper won the tap. Parrish had plenty of company. Laird was all over him and gets the free kick.
So they're going to have to kick at least one, you would think, the Bombers. Like 5. I don't think they can save this game. 5 minutes is a long time. So they're going to have to keep the foot down here and try and get at least one more goal.
Parrish inside 50. Durham worked his way to the front, couldn't take the mark. Guelphy, was he taken high? No. Falls to Duday. Duday for the Crows, kicks it towards the centre wing. No mark, Zirk Thatcher. Rochelle for the Crows, goes the soccer kick. Picks up about 25 metres. It's rolling towards right half forward. Rochelle tried to pick it up. Just a little soccer kick, was quite clever in the end to Cook. Cook almost tripped. Was he holding the ball? Yes! Free kick, Essendon.
Big tackle, Redmond. Big tackle. The second, third efforts he's provided today. I thought Cook with the fresh legs was good at following up, but that is a match-saving tackle. Players are cooked, so this is why you do your pre-season. This is where you've got to dig in. 4 minutes to go.
He's tired, Redmond, but he kicks it towards a big pack of players. There's a whistle on the play. Free kick, Essendon. All of a sudden, everything's going for the black and red, and it's going to be Phillips who's going to try and send it in long.
Parrish is exhausted. He's come off with 38 disposals today.
It's a little right arc from Phillips. Just a really long high ball inside 50. Right, trying to get to the front. Fished in there from Butts. Rolls towards the boundary line, deep in the left forward pocket now.
So Port Adelaide were criticised last week for last 5 minutes not getting a spare behind the ball. So Essendon have got a 4-point lead, 3 minutes 39 to go. What do? So Heppel's there. Phillips is going to actually set up behind the ball, and Laverde's gone back as that spare. But Adelaide have done pretty well. Even numbers.
No. O'Brien went past it, and Draper got it on the right foot for a snap goal. From the boundary throw-in. Got the little chug up. They've passed the ton, the Bombers, 15-13, 103. Adelaide, 14-9, 93. O'Brien had got front position, missed it with the left hand. And Draper, the recipient at the back.
Just missed it. Just misjudged it. And I think it's fitting, because all day we've been speaking, Riley O'Brien's going to get tired. They put work into him. They put miles into him. And then in the last 3 minutes, his exhaustion is laid bare with a complete misread of the ruck contest. And Draper, look at him celebrate. He grabs the black and red and says, how good is this? And the crowd come to their feet.
Well, Kane, Essendon haven't been zipping 3 for a long, long time. Decades. It was a must-win game for them on their home patch. And with 27 minutes gone in the final term, Essendon lead by 10. The crowd know the importance of it. Phillips won the tap, and O'Brien was able to gather it up for the Crows and just, with no nonsense, kicks it inside 50. Walker's there, Redmond's there, paddles it to himself, did very, very well. Got it to Shield. Handball near side, working with Durham. Shield is going to cough it up here and sends it straight down the throat of Brown for Adelaide. So they're on the turnover here. Darting kick towards right half forward. Laird, Rochelle, 53 metres out, sends it inside. And the mark taken under enormous pressure by Gollett. Can the young man stand up for the Crows? He can go back and kick it from about 45 metres out. Maybe he's on a 45-degree angle.
Well, it's just got a bit of an issue there with one of the Essendon players who's getting some attention. Is it just his boot off, or is he cramping? I don't know. But someone's going to have to stand the mark. I mean, the Shield kick and turnover, you've got control of the footy on your own wing.
It's Ridley, by the way.
It's Ridley. He's going to come off, I think. Maybe a knock to the head. You're a highly paid, experienced player, and you're under no pressure, and you turn the footy over. Like, not just turn it over, you kick it to the opposition like he's your own player. And you heard the crowd. I mean, it's nothing personal against Dylan Chile. You just got to use the footy better.
28 and a half minutes gone, final term. Essendon by 10. Lockie Gollant for Adelaide. 45 metres out. It must go through for a goal if they are to be a chance. Steps in, and he's going to sneak it home. It's a goal for the Crows. We're back within a kick. Almost 29 minutes gone for Icon Services, solutions that matter. Essendon 15-13, 103 to the Adelaide Crows 15-9, 99. A 4-point ball game in your right, Kane Corns. Adelaide, they just don't go away.
They just hang in there. They just wouldn't be right if it went any other way. So right now there is 2 minutes 22 to play on the Makita rule the outdoors clock, and you've got Ridley and Parrish off. So Parrish has been off for 2 minutes. He's currently getting a calf massage. Get back on the ground. Like, you need your best play. If you're fit and you're ready, get on there. You don't need to be getting a calf massage with 2 minutes to go. You kick a goal. They had to get him back on to go to this centre bounce. They couldn't do that. Ridley's off as well, getting some attention. He's their best defender. So if Adelaide win a clearance here, look out.
They lost in round one by a point. The kick after the sign to win by 4 points. The Crows last week were involved in another nail-biter. The Bombers just want to win. It's as simple as that. Phillips, Shield. They'll break from the middle. Kick inside forward 50. Outstretched hands of Waterman. Jones at the back. Frampton brought down. Didn't have full possession. Frampton.
Free kick.
He'll get the free kick.
It's not a bad free kick because it's slow. He's gone and had to get the ball. It's deep in your back pocket. Essendon really should be able to set up the ground as they like here, and Adelaide are going to have to take a risk to try and get through.
Almost inside the last 2 minutes. Penetrating ball from the defensive 50. Big fist in there from Phillips. Ground level ball. Sloan there first. Stripped of it by Perkins. Umpire says play on. Ball ricochets back to Dawson. Away to Scholl on his left. And he gets it to Rochelle on the wing. Clock ticking. Bombers hanging on by 4 points. Rochelle further afield. It was a good kick to lead to Walker. Well, he's certainly within range, Tex.
Well, this would be a story, wouldn't it?
Wow. It's kick 4 on the return.
Someone from Essendon to be in the zone where he's going to wheel out to the right foot.
50. What's this going to measure exactly, you reckon?
56.
56 you're going with, Matty. Righto. He's such a sweet kick if he can get onto it. Tex Walker, he got close to the man on the mark. High ball towards the 50. Didn't get the journey. Still a ground level ball. A snap by McHenry. Right across the face of goal, out of bounds on the fall.
59 on the Makita. Rule the outdoors clock. Taylor Walker just hit the middle of the ball, didn't he? Didn't make any sweet contact whatsoever. And then McHenry had a look at him, but missed by a good 15 metres. So down the line, force a contest, force a throw-in for the Bombers.
So can the Bombers grit their teeth and hold on for another minute? Long kick from Guelphy out of defence. Then Smith just hacks it to open space. And running into it is Waterman. Waterman's got a panic in front of him. Dodges, weaves, one's tackle, two tackles. Kicks inside 50. Durham pops it up in the air, looking for Shield. No mark. Martin runs onto it. He's tackled. Won't matter. Milks the clock, and the umpire crosses himself. 30 metres out from the Bombers' goal. They lead by 4. We've been going 32 minutes. We're less than 30 seconds away.
And McGrath's just gone behind the ball as well here, so it's a good setup. I'd want probably one more, but anyway.
Draper in the ruck work. Got it down. Falls to Dawson, Keys, and then the kick was smothered. Terrific work from Guelphy, 30 metres out from the Essendon goal.
Gotta go.
Now Schoenberg just hacks it out and finds Rochelle on centre wing. Handball to Keys. One last roll of the dice for the Crows. Keys inside 50, and taking the mark was Redmond, and you'd think that'd be it.
Siren about to sound. The Bombers are gonna hang on. At Marvel Stadium, have a listen to the roar. They found a way.
Bombers fly up to win the premiership flag. Our boys who play this carol game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up. We are the teams they don't fear. But they can't get in as the Bombers fly up.
So Peter Wright kicked 3 this afternoon. Waterman kicked 2. Singles to Draper, Smith, Cordwell, Durham, Redmond and Guelphy. Chucky and Archie Perkins for a couple as well. And for the Crows today, Walker kicked 4 on his return. Rochelle, we're going to be calling that name with a fair bit of enjoyment in their voice in the future. He kicked 3. Rowe and Himmelberg kick 2 apiece. Singles to Keys, McHenry, Scholl and also Gallants.
Up to win the premiership flag. Our boys who play this grand old game are always striving for glory and fame. See the Bombers fly up, up. The other teams they don't fear. They'll try their best, but they can't get near as the Bombers fly up.
Quick update as we're about to wind up all our awards to come. Gold Coast Carlton not too far away. Quarter time at the MCG. St Kilda 6-1-37 leading Hawthorn 3-3-21. Our post-game show for Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops. Answer the Camel's call. Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops just repeating that score. Essendon 15-13 103. Defeat the Crows 15-9-99 for Victoria Police. Not the Sirens. Call the police assistance line 131 444. Kane, your immediate thoughts?
Well, a great game. That's my immediate thoughts. Adelaide, I mean, just everything we sort of spoke about through the game, they just wouldn't go away. Bombers season is alive, and Adelaide, both teams 1 and 3. They both feel better teams than 1 and 3. But I think for Essendon and for the competition, I'm glad they got the result today because it would have almost been season over. They just had to win, as you said, BP, and they were good enough to hold on late.
Let's get through all our awards before we head up north to Metricon Stadium. MEGT Rookie of the Day, you're a local apprenticeship experts.
I think I've been saying his last name wrong all day, but it's Durham. Is that how we pronounce it correctly, you two gurus? Durham. I've been saying Durham, so apologies to him.
He's good though. Well, he's 10 games.
I'm going to remember his name for a long time after this because we're going to see and hear a lot more from him. Yep. Faded out after a busy first half, but had some really crucial moments, has a bright future.
Player power rankings for Red Energy, owned by Snowy Hydro, a renewable energy leader. Who led the charge there, in your opinion?
So that was, sorry, what the award was again?
The player power rankings.
Player power rankings. So I think we just go off the Dream Team stats here, and the leader with those was Ben Keys, by the looks of it, with 130.
All right, hanger of the day, hangmytv.com.au. At halftime, there weren't really any hangers that came to mind.
No, there wasn't, but Peter Wright, I probably neglected to say, took a really good, strong contested mark in the first half in the goal square.
All right, the tackle or tackler of the game for Toro, Ken on Toro to get the job done. There was a lot in that small phone box area for a lot of the day.
Heaps. Ben Keys ended up with 11, so I thought he was important. McGrath laid some big ones as well. He had 7. So let's give it to the winning side and Andrew McGrath.
Okay, injury update for safetyhq.com.au. So we saw, Hinge go off and Cook activated as a sub. Looked like he pulled up lame just here at half-back, sort of clutching at maybe the hamstring, went straight down the race.
And Snelling was the other one. I don't know what the issue was with Will Snelling, though, but Devon Smith came on and he was influential in the result.
Subbed out at half-time. What about the coach of the day for TC Boxes? Home for trays, canopies and toolboxes.
Oh, I thought both coaches were pretty good. I mean, clearly their players were responding to them. So, if you win the game, late, I thought they held on pretty well and defended. They seemed to have set up pretty well, the Bombers, so they were well organised late.
Goal of the game for Host Plus, an industry super fun for all Australians.
Waterman kicked a good one on the stroke of half-time, but probably Taylor Walker's left foot snap to keep the Crows in touch with a minute or so to go.
And what comes to mind for an unmissable moment for Drinkwise?
Unmissable moment for Drinkwise was probably the Draper goal to finish it, and then more so the celebration after was pretty emotional.
So in the end, for AFL Nation's Player of the Year for Whirlpool, your leader in kitchen and laundry appliances, the 3-2-1s.
Yeah, so let's go one vote, Taylor Walker. Thought, kicked 4 goals, had 18 disposals, and looked the most threatening forward on the ground for most of the day. So we'll give him 1 vote. There's some midfielders who got big numbers. I'm a bit reluctant to give the midfielders all the numbers. I thought Jordan Dawson was terrific. Once again, 26. He had 624 metres gained, which was the equal with Nick Hind on the ground. And 3 votes. Could have gone Laird or Parrish. In the end, through weight of numbers, Parrish has had 38. He's had 8 clearances. Got up to nearly 400 metres gained. High contested possession count. I would have liked to see him on the ground late in the game. They couldn't get him back on, but he was probably the player of the day.
All right, let's give you a ladder update for 40 Winks. Get 50% off Sealy Posturepedic mattresses at 40 Winks. T's and C's apply. So Melbourne, the 1 undefeated team on 16. Brisbane, Fremantle, Geelong, Carlton and Sydney all separated by a percentage on 12 from 2 to 6. Hawthorn, of course, live at the moment. The Hawks will give you an updated score in just a moment of that game. Second quarter underway at the MCG. St Kilda with the early jumps. That's a huge game. 7v8 right now on the AFL ladder. They're both on 8 points. Collingwood on 8, Richmond on 8 points. Gold Coast to play shortly against the Blues. Adelaide, the Giants, the Bulldogs, the Eagles, now the Bombers and North Melbourne all on 4 points. And as we know, Port Adelaide, after 4 rounds, bringing up the rear of the ladder at 69.5 there. Percentage. Our post-game show for Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops. Answer the Camel's call, Thirsty Camel Bottle Shops. So just repeating that quarter-time score at the G, 6-1-37, the Saints leading the Hawks 3-3-21. Quick update at the Australian Formula One Grand Prix down at Albert Park. We're lap 35 into 58. Charles Leclerc is still leading. He's led from start to over halfway now in his Ferrari. Max Verstappen in the Red Bull running second. Russell, the Englishman, in the Mercedes up to third. Perez in fourth. Lewis Hamilton in fifth position at the moment. And it was Carlos Sainz Jr., the Spaniard, who was out early in the piece. So,
like your cars, Kano?
Not really. Nah, but I have been thrilled by the crowds and the spectacle of the Grand Prix back. We used to have it in Adelaide, where I was from, which was always...
Is it a sore point?
It is a bit of a sore point, but just good to see the world turning a little bit.
Indeed. Yeah. Easter DIYs, Easter next weekend, of course. Beaumont Tiles have got you covered for your Easter DIY reno with plenty of stock ready to go, plenty of stock and heaps of savings like a new kitchen splashback from under $100. They've also packed with up to 60% off managers specials, an amazing 20mm porcelain outdoor pavers at 20% off. So if your outdoors need some love, Beaumonts have what you need to with all your grouts, tools and glues. Your needs now, the time to tackle your own DIY job. Drop into one of their 110 stores right across the country. Get that Easter reno started now. You're right into the reno.
And another good thing, Bretto, as well, talking about almost the post-COVID era. Kick-to-Kick's about to take place on Marvel as well, which is great to have for everyone back.
Good days. One of my favourites going out in the suburban grounds as a much younger man, just trying to avoid being knocked on the bonce while the Sharon's flying everywhere. Thank you, Kane.
Good stuff, guys.
Great to work alongside you. Thanks, Matty. We've got a thriller here today. Bombers home by 4, 15-13, 103 to Adelaide, 15-9, second quarter underway at the MCG. And Gold Coast and Carlton up next on AFL Nation. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.